weekend. You know what I'm saying?
I kind of do. My life has not a lot of lazy weekends. It's a lot of grind. It's a lot of things like this these days. But yo, I just want to say thank you so much for coming here and being a part of this Bridge the Gap experience because I'm not gonna lie, posting that you were coming got quite a lot of more interactions than I'm used to it getting. People are really into you and your legacy and what you have done for this world. And we are so fucking excited to have this conversation with you and learn more about your story. But I feel like I should introduce the concept of what we're doing here a little bit. So, and it's important, especially when I talk to you New York guys, because there's this thing that happens when New York guys tell a story. They do this thing and they describe some stuff and they use some words and then they go, you know what I mean? And then I'm like, no, I have no idea what you mean. I'm born in Montreal. I spent my whole life in Montreal. I've never even been to New York City. I can't picture anything you're saying. I don't know what you mean. So bridging the gap here is that it's about bridging this gap of knowledge. Listen, your legacy is ridiculous. I have watched a few of your interviews. I have seen the way people talk with you, and everybody talks to you from this knowledge point of they know all the things you've done. I'm gonna be real with you, Poison Pen. I didn't know your name a month ago. So I spent all this time researching you and looking into how amazing you are. And a little bit, okay, I should have known your name, especially because I own the Immortal Technique, the Third World album. Like I own that album, and it didn't even register until like I looked you up a little bit more. So basically all I'm saying is I have looked into how incredible you are. I have seen so much of what you have touched and I've seen so many people that your lives have touched as I go and look into your legacy all over it. It is blowing my mind. And I think the coolest part is battle rap is a new thing for my life. I'm not really like this guy that's been into battle rap forever. It's more like I met Mr. Flacco Bale or Dutch Vega or however you guys talk. And it just blew my mind. And I've been ingratiated into this whole new world. And to have the opportunity to speak to like you with everything you've done with relation to everything you've done and then to discover that not only are you this pioneer mogul guy but you are an insanely versatile MC with so much skill, dude. I've been bumping your music all fucking week, dude. It is so good. You are
Good
such a
looking.
talent. Yo, you're honestly, man, I like them. This isn't no bullshit. I am the right age to be geeking out on the exact sound you were dropping in 2007 9. Like, I'm that guy. I heard what you did there, and I'm like, this is fire. I'm listening to it today. It aged perfectly. I even went back and found some like 2003 track you did because somebody said, ask him about this, Fall Back or something like that. Yo, man, honestly, the depth
The
of your
fall back.
talent is
Wow.
unheard of in my. So all that to say, I'm excited to go through your story, and I don't know very much about you. So in this case, unlike all the other interviews, all the details you want to provide as possible. If it's beautiful and it takes forever and it's part one of many, I'm okay with that because your story needs to be captured, in my opinion. And I think at this point, if you're okay with it, I can actually start with the first question. I'm a bit convoluted. I know it's a bit stories and whatnot, but the first question starts like this. So my girlfriend's washing dishes one time and she's bumping this Black Eyed Peas shit and she's like doing a dance and she's washing the dishes. So, I got a feeling, ooh, she's bumping there. And like we're in our early 30s now, but 10 years ago, we was all up in the clubs, we was dancing. That was that fucking jam. And I had this epiphany in life, like chores music is honestly just club music at a different time, right? If you look in, you move the spectrum of time, chores music is club music. That brought me back. So I thought about my mom doing chores to like discos and shit, and my dad's got the Zeppelins and all that stuff going on. And I realized that, the musical journey is not when you're like 12, 13 and you're getting into stuff. That's not really when it starts. It starts a little bit earlier than that, right? It's when you're a little one and your mom's doing or your parents are doing chores around you, or like when you're in the car and some vibes is happening, or the radios or the vinyls, and it's all this stuff that's happening outside of your control that is influencing you from the youngest of ages. So I guess my question is, can you walk us through the very little Poison Pens music experience? I'm talking like 5 years old type shit. What it was like to be you as a very big youth,
Yeah,
and the
that's
music
easy,
of that,
man.
and what it was, especially.
That's easy. Well, my my family's like, my whole family's like musically inclined. They've all done music or worked, in music in some aspect or whatever have you. My older cousins, my mother's first cousins, they had a real popular group in Brooklyn. Well, from Brooklyn, not in Brooklyn. They were pop. They had gold plaques on the wall. That's the first thing. My first memory is plaques on my aunt's wall. You know what I'm saying? And rest in peace. She just passed away right before Christmas. So that's crazy. But yeah, my older cousin, he was in this group called Sky, SKYY, and they had a bunch of hits like in the from like the disco era to like early '90s. You know what I'm saying? And they had a big record called Call Me. You know what I'm saying? Back in the '80s and shit, and that was a huge record. You know what I'm saying? So as a kid, I used to remember like that was one of the first things I remember because I used to go to I used to go. That's my older cousins and shit. So they had a studio right in East New York on Georgia Ave. Matter of fact, they just did it on BET, not BET. What's this? TV1. They did a TV1 unsung on them last. I think earlier this year or last year they did it. So all this is on TV1. You know what I'm saying? But
Crazy.
they older. They like it's like my mother's class of people. But that's the people I remember. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my first memories. But yeah, so they were doing huge shows, and I used to go. I was going on tour buses and going to the studio from what I mean, from when I was as long as I could remember. I used to remember going to their shows, and because they was all from East New York and Bed-Stuy, and people used to fucking pass out screaming, and you know what I mean. I ain't that's the first people I saw where the gold plaque was.
No,
I
I
saw how
don't fully
music
know what you
touched
mean.
people, and I was like, wow, this is pretty dope. You know what I'm saying? But I had no idea that it was gonna, help push me to what I was doing because it wasn't even hip hop at all. Like they had nothing to do with hip hop to this day. Like my older cousins, they don't bang with hip hop like that, and they respect what I do, but they don't. They're not hip hoppers. That's not their generation. That's not their life. But that's the first. Those are the first. My first memories of music was them. You know what I'm saying? And yeah,
That's
they
crazy.
call me. Look that up. That's just a big record from like the '80s. Call Me, Start of a Romance. They had a bunch of songs. Matter of fact, Sky Zoo got his name from my cousin's group because he was from his family, his parents was listening to that music because they from Brooklyn, and they had a song on their album called
Mm.
Sky Zoo. You know what I'm saying? And it was back when people used to play the kazoo and shit like that in the songs back in that whole era. And yeah, so Sky Zoo's parents named him after that record. Well, that's his nickname. That's his real name. Yeah, but Sky
Right,
Zoo
right.
got his name from my cousin's group too. You know what I mean? But those are my
That's amazing.
first like memories of coming up and
So, yo,
just seeing how music affect people and yeah.
so you're from Bed-Stuy, right? I don't know if I even said that right. Bed-Stuy, is that
Yeah,
how you
yeah,
say it?
best style,
I
no
feel
doubt.
like,
I'm from. I mean,
and that's where you're from.
I'm from Brooklyn, man. But best style to be specific. But I've lived in multiple
Okay.
neighborhoods in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? But best style is definitely home base.
And were you around like when you're young? Is this like the birth of hip hop era of when you're young? Like what's actually going on in the
Nah,
world? Because you got to
not
keep in
that
mind.
far back, man.
I know.
Like we was growing up during like you know what I mean. Growing up, the first things I was getting into like as far as I was getting into like the whole Ice Cube NWA type stuff. Those are the first things that really like that was my childhood. You know what I mean? Growing up like that era, like not fucking Sugar Hill
Okay.
Gang and shit. Like
No, but like because you gotta understand that even like growing up in the 90s and shit, right? You're still in New
yeah,
York,
for
you're
sure,
still
for
in
sure.
Brooklyn, and I'm in Montreal, right? So everything you're doing there is interesting. For you, some of this like mundane stuff that like might not be super interesting to you. Like even if you're like there are block parties over there, we're all like, bro, tell us about that shit.
Oh,
That's fucking
I
interesting.
know.
Like that's
That's
culture.
one thing I realized being where I'm from. Just the regular shit that I witnessed and seen just growing up. People are like, wow, they're astounded. And like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm from Bed Stuy, so people like that John Herald as like some of the greats. Those are people that I seen as a child. You know what I'm saying? And like, and some greats are my big homies. You know what I'm saying? Sean Price is my big homie. You know what I mean? So I've seen. I guess all the people that you guys are idolized through music and stuff. These are people that I've encountered in real life because they they older than me by a few years, but I was there, bro. I'm like Forrest Gump, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Every major moment in hip hop history from like from like late '90s on. Like I was there. I helped. I was a part of that shit in some way, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the part where we're like, holy crap, we're so fucking lucky we get to talk to you because it's really hard to find out the real things that happen. And guys like you are like wealths of knowledge, and like we
Yeah.
look for the knowledge nuggets up in here. And then through your story, yeah, I've heard you talk. I know you're a teacher. I know you like to profess knowledge through it the way that you do your thing. And that's the most exciting part is that we're all gonna learn a bunch of shit through it. So basically you're in the era of the tapes and the radios then, right? As you're growing up?
As a
Or are
child,
you
yeah,
all
I
in the
definitely,
vinyls
I
and stuff?
definitely, I definitely have, I definitely have tapes for sure.
Um, are you like interested in stuff like dancing and graffiti and stuff at the young ages, or is it mostly just music at this point?
No, well, I love hip hop. I love all every element of hip hop. You know what I mean? I even as a New Yorker, watching it blossom. I guess like there was no way if you was outside as a kid, there was no way. I mean, look how it affected the world. Period. Point blank. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, there was no way as a kid like watching certain things blossom and shit that you ain't want to be a part of it. Like that's because I mean the big people forget that one of the major things that made hip hop what it is New York. You know what I'm saying? I mean it blossomed out, so it's everyone has a right to it. But it's a New York thing, really, and it's a Bronx thing to be specific. You feel me? But Brooklyn, we ain't far away, so it's a New York City thing, man. So coming up, like it was like there's no way in the world that you weren't like trying to be a part of what was going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, but but rhyming is what spoke to me more above anything. Like just as a kid coming up, we did everything because that's just what we did.
So
City
you were
kids, we did
like,
everything.
so you were like
But
rhyming from like how old?
what happened?
Like how old were
Repeat
you
that.
when you started rhyming? Because I mean, in most people's cases, we're not talking about people who have like growing up with memories of plaques on the walls. So were you like rhyming at 5 years old
Not
type
at all.
thing, or did
Nah,
that come a little bit?
hardly. Not even. Like that was. I guess
Okay.
that was maybe like a premonition. Well, I'm gonna say premonition. I ain't got no plaque on my
Mm.
wall for my own, so that made me not a premonition,
Eh,
but maybe an indicator of what was to come. But nah, really. I
Fair
mean,
enough.
being
All right.
just being fucking with my in school, man. That's just the way we communicated. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what made me be the person. I was always the person that if you like this, I looked for that. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mm.
and one of the reasons I was fucking with like Cube and them heavy growing up, because now people look at it with revisionist eyes. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people was like, "Yo, what you listening to that West Coast shit for?" You know what I'm saying? As a kid, but I was just like, it was dope. And to me, I
Yo,
thought hip
hold
hop,
on. Can we
hip hop.
pause there?
What? What'd you say?
Yo, you just said something super interesting. Yo, because I never even thought about what it's like to have to deal with that East Coast, West Coast stuff growing up, right? Because for me, it is, and like I'm in the 2000s, right? I'm 33, so I'm growing up with like Eminem and shit's already on the charts by the time I'm caring about anything, right? So, what's it actually like to have to deal with the East Coast, West Coast pressure? I don't mean to like shed negativity, but I mean I never even once considered the fact that if you're living on the East Coast, you might even have a problem from people listening to West Coast music. Like that's
Nah,
never
well,
crossed my mind once in my life.
to be fair with us, it wasn't an issue like that. Like where we had to fear for our safety and no shit like that. We was young,
No,
so
no, no. I didn't mean it
but
like.
but 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 as far as like it wasn't like you can't play that like on some there's a fear of violence or something. It was just like we was very New Yorkers, but were very protective about they shit. So like like a lot of the older heads that I knew didn't want to hear something that wasn't from New York. It had nothing to do with like Pac and Biggie and shit like that. It just had to do with like this hip hop shit is ours. Like fuck y'all doing this for. But that was the
Mhm.
older heads perspective because you know what I'm saying? To them, hip hop was
Yeah.
a New York thing. Like fuck is you doing?
I
You know
could
what I'm saying?
co-sign what you're saying though, Penn. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I remember like in all the homies that I always hung around were super not open-minded to anything that was not honestly anything that was not like street hood. They didn't even like native tongues type of shit. You know what I mean? Like even that was just like fuck out of here with that
So
shit type of,
I used to
which is
listen to.
just like, bro,
Yeah,
like
I was a dude. I was a dude. I had like All About the Benjamins and the Fire in Which You Burn Slow on the same tape. You know what I'm saying? Like that was me. You feel me? Like because I'm a Bobito kid. You feel me? I grew up off of Bobito. That's what
I
really
don't know what
shaped
that means.
you know
What
what?
is it called?
This is
Stretch
good.
Armstrong show
This
and
is
Bobito.
All
occurring
right,
on
no, okay, I do know what a bobito is. All right, okay, so I know what a bobito is, kid, is kind of because I've heard the names and it's been said to me, Stretch and Bobito. That okay, I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
The context is not really there. I just kind of get that that's a thing that happened in history one time.
That
If you want to elaborate on what it means to be a bobito kid, that would be fucking fire.
first is
um
the stretch kid.
Well,
Okay,
Stretch was more
I
of the
don't
street
even.
shit. Bobito was more of the fucking goofy shit. See, if you really want to break it down, but within the Stretch and
I
Bobito is
do.
in the situation. Because you remember they had a rift, but to keep it general, like I said, I see you over there. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? To keep it general,
Exactly.
Stretch Armstrong. It was the Stretch Armstrong show. That was a show that was one of the most influential shows on the radio growing up. You know what I'm saying? And they actually and they were from I believe it was pretty much all of the '90s. Really, it was from like WKCR was the station, 89.9
Mm.
Columbia University, and it was on like pretty much until like from like 1990 to like 2000, pretty much 10 years. But that was pretty much the era where we were growing up in our shit and coming to age type shit. So like that Bobito.
Right.
He was the guy. Well, Stretch and Bobito, Stretch Armstrong and Bobito, they were the ones that played. Like, say if you listen to Hot 97 or whatever, and I listened to Hot 97 too, but I'm not gonna act like I didn't. But if you like, Hot 97 played all the commercial stuff as they do today, to this as they true to that in 2021. They played all the commercial stuff, but at that time, New York had a lot of we still had. Remember, that's the era. But Biggie was on the radio, but like Bad Boy was running shit. You know what I'm saying? Wu Tang said there was a lot of New York on the radio, but at the same time, but if you wanted the stuff under the surface, you had to turn on the Stretch Armstrong and Bobito, and it was on from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. on Thursday nights. So what we would do was, you know what I mean, put the tape on 1 a.m. Like I used to train myself to hear it, yo, because I had to go to school in the morning, so I would 1 o'clock I would stay up as long as I could. I would record, and then when I hear it click, I would just like blindly just turn the tape over and just press record again. You know what I mean? So it's 4 hours of hip hop. And the thing about Stretch and Bobito, they introduced the world to people such as, Wu Tang, like all the people that were pivotal in the '90s. Like Bobito introduced the world to them. Stretch and Bobito introduced the world to them before mostly everybody. Like the first time I heard Nas was on there. You know what I'm saying? First time we heard
Okay.
uh Mobb Deep, first time we heard Wu Tang, and on top of that, they gave fucking kids chances, yo. They gave my nigga P8, my nigga P8 was on there back when motherfuckers were still in school type shit. You know what I'm saying? Playing promos from everybody. So Bobito, he was like our access. He was our access to everything. So, and he was really really in the street. Like it wasn't like the Funk Master Flexes and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So Bobito was like, yo, we gonna be at the New Rican Poets Cafe. I pulled up the New Rican Poets Cafe. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much how I jump started my shit. You know what I mean? My only goal when I started rhyming was to be on Bobito. That's a fact.
Yeah,
Way
I just
before.
gotta say, I just gotta thank you for that. That is literally the essence of this show. You just drop knowledge nuggets. So what we learned is a lot of things. First of all, when you added some context, like the first time we heard Nas was on this shit, like that's something I could relate to in a more like humanistic way than just the overall ethereal nature of your experience. That's fucking cool. And also, like, we also kind of undersell the value and power of radio today and its significance and how much influence it really fucking has, right? So with that, you're kind of
Because
like
social
reminding us.
media didn't exist before. That's how everything got out.
And so I think just even reminding us of the significance in the history, and I think it's important for us to know what a stretch and bombito is. I mean, basically what you're describing is these guys effectively broke a lot of people, but the biggest knowledge nugget you brought there is to give a chance to the kids. And I'm seeing that people who succeed in life are very youth centric. There's a lot of youth efforts involved in what they do, and those people have a longevity. And so the fact that you
Yo, he
dropped
was
that right
playing,
there and we're talking about them today, that's huge, man. That's a huge knowledge nugget you just squeezed out
bro.
of there.
Bobito was playing Company Flow records when LP was 18, 19 years old, right? LP
LP
one of my
one
big
of my big
homies in this
homies in
shit,
this shit.
right? So he was playing like 8 Steps to Perfection, Juvenile Techniques, right? Before
Pen,
they
hold
was
on
even
real quick.
before they was even on Walkers. You know what I mean? Firing with you, burn slow. Look at LP now, bro. Run the Jewels is still one of the he after that he formed
Yo,
Def
Run the
Jux,
Jewels is
put out ASAP Rock, put out Cannibal Ox,
There
put
we
out
go.
his own shit, Fantastic Damage, put out multiple classics with that, and then now he reinvented himself with Killer Mike as Run the Jewels, man. Like
gosh,
that lineage is crazy, bro.
LP is he's one of my favorite people. In my opinion, RTJ4 was album of the year last year. Like they're literally my favorite act right now in terms
You
of music.
see how that connects? You didn't even know who
Yeah, man.
Stretch and Bobby. You didn't even know the lineage of Stretch and Bobito. Stretch and Bobito was the
Not
reason
even.
that LP got on. Like, not saying that he wouldn't have got on without Bobito and all of that, but and
No,
LP
of
is still one of the
course.
strongest
But
acts out in music today. One of the largest, one of the biggest groups in indie music. Period. That shit crazy.
yeah, that's so cool. Like that's why I'm so grateful that you're here talking to me about this stuff because I'm not the only one sitting here tripping. Other people are in the comments going, "Wow," the whole way through this. I promise. You fucking tripping out a lot of people in a positive way. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
But
I was gonna
I
tell
have
you,
one more question.
Pen, don't forget to like
Oh yeah, sorry. Go.
explain things all the way through. You know what I mean? Like Pumpkinhead,
Don't
like feel
worry.
free. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yo,
Educate on names, educate on
that's what
each name because not
that's
everybody. We know, we
right.
know, but
But that's what you're
everybody
here for.
else.
You here to drop the extra sofrito in case I
No, we
forget.
got this. But there's still one. We got one more really big question that never got answered in that
Oh
explanation.
yeah,
We got context for the question.
yeah.
Was a Stretch and a Bambito kid? We still didn't
Okay.
answer what those were.
Now, what I say by that is that was what raised me into what molded me into the hip hop that I've grown to, that I've performed, that I've done. That's pretty much molded my hip hop persona. Like, not persona, but I mean that's pretty much like not the nucleus, but a large amount. Like, so that's what molded us, that era. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me personally, that's what made me want to rhyme like that. I wanted to get on Barbito because that's what I heard in school. You know what I'm saying? So when I would, like, honestly, when I was able to do that, I was like, you know what I mean? Like, that was literally all I wanted to do. That I didn't have any aspiration. Let me drop a record. Let me drop a single. Let me go on tour. Like, all that shit came later, bro. It was like, yo, let me go on Bobito and murk this shit, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was able to do that with Lord Sid and all that, and that was pretty much my goal. Like, that's wild. Yeah, I had such lofty goals and visions. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, but it's good to have lofty goals and visions.
But that's what I mean. I was a Bobito baby. You know what I'm saying? Like that. A lot of people overlook a lot of those artists don't get don't get mentioned. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the big ones get mentioned. Like I said, the Nas's and the Jay-Z's and Big L's, they always get mentioned. Wu-Tang and shit. Like, they legends. I mean, no disrespect, but they get mentioned everywhere. So who fucking cares? You know what I'm saying? But like Bob, nah, that's
Yes.
no disrespect. You know what I mean? Or it's like, yeah, them niggas
No,
get
it's not. It's
mentioned
facts.
everywhere. Like, all right, whatever. Like, let's move on, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was for indie hip hop. You know what I'm saying? The whole psychological records, the whole Necro and everybody spawned from that. You know what I'm saying? Nonfiction spawned from that.
Yo.
You know what I mean? Like I said, natural elements. The producer Charlemagne came from that. You know what I'm saying? Like, Curious. MF Doom came from that. MF Doom came from Bobito, bro.
Clarify the Charlemagne
No, I'm
name,
telling you.
because you can't say Charlemagne. Everybody in the world's gonna think you talking about Charlemagne the God.
That's why I said the producer.
So
Charlemagne.
I want to
That's why
just
I said the
co-sign what Flacco
producer,
said.
not Charlemagne the God. From
Yeah,
that's
even when you said that, I still thought Charlemagne the God.
yeah.
Even though you said the producer, I didn't even know there was another Charlemagne.
There's a producer who's been around for years and years, way before Charlemagne the God. But he's a producer, so he's not vocal.
Who, by the way, worked with, wasn't he the one that was working with Bianca when he was working with Dipset and them or something like that? I think he was the one that was like taking Bianca and Mahogany with like the connections of all this. It goes to show you that it's a big hip hop tree, and the roots go so deep that it touches everybody's families.
And Cool Man Logan, yeah, Pun, Big Pun, Fat Joke, like Pun. I heard of Pun because of Bobito. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's what I'm saying. So that molded us. You know what I'm saying? Like that we used to fucking, you know, we would have lasted like the Walkman kids and shit. So we used to still walk around Walkmans for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And we used to tape, like, if I had the Bobito, like niggas used to literally tape the tape and sell the tapes. Like, come on, bro.
I had no idea that happened. So those are like original, almost like mixtapes. So people, maybe not original, but an era of kind of mixtapes then, right? So somebody. Sorry.
It was just an exclusivity thing. It was just the fact that you had it, right? Like some people knew, like you could be in New York City, you could be in tune with all sorts of things and still not know about this underground hip hop station. And so the people like Penn and Zoo and me and everybody who's mentioned it on this show, it's like we all kind of were in tune with this one cool thing that everybody else in the city still wasn't really in tune with, the way they were in tune with Hot 97. And we had like a little bit of a leg up on everybody and knew about talent before everybody.
Lyricist Lounge,
Sorry,
that AO skills came from that. You know what I mean? There's a lot of lineage, you know what I'm saying, that come right from that come right from the Stretch and Bobito, you know, that radio station for those years they were operating, man. A lot of people came.
Dude, that is an amazing
lineage.
Because like now I know there's a documentary about this. I know I say that word weird. I know so I'm gonna check that. And honestly, for me, it's like it helps me learn more, right? So that I can be better at doing this.
And even in that documentary, it's like I'm a super fan, you know what I mean? Even in that documentary, they still covered just a lot of the big names. But they did have a part where they lifted a lot of people. And they gave my bro PH a light, so I'm definitely not mad at them at all. But there's a lot of people that they ain't mentioned on that, you know.
But that's where in 2021, Poison Pen is the guy that we're all talking to get the reels from. Because I'm not the only one who knows that you're the guy that knows what really happened to a lot of things. So that's why it's fucking wonderful that you're giving us your time like this, man. It's so cool of you. Nah,
it's all good, man. That's what I'm here for, man. I guess being around for everything has its benefits, huh? So let's get it. Let's talk. Let's chop these fables, man.
All right. So as far as your story goes, my actual second question, because we're already this far deep and we're only at question 2 of my list of real questions. That's amazing, dude. My second real question is about when you actually do start your musical journey. So as we established, there's the music stuff around you, and you said you got into like Ice-T and stuff. So I guess do you remember the moment you heard a song and were like, bro, that's it. That's my shit. And then what song it was, and then as that migrated into this Stretch and Bobito era, do you remember how it like moved into you're gonna start writing?
I really don't have that answer because, like I said, my family was always involved in music. So I told you about my cousin. So my pops plays, you know what I'm saying, plays as well. And he plays keys and all that. He was a producer. My pops, he's actually in SWV's video, the I'm So Into You shit.
Okay.
From back in the day, but that shit was like that shit went multi-platinum. So back then it was huge. My pops in there with his shirt off, oil torso, playing the keys and shit.
Nice.
We had a soundboard right now. You hit that.
But nah, so I was always there too. So I don't have to answer like so. To answer the question, but I'd answer the question. So it was always around me. So I always would like play around, you know. So I can't say the first time I was like, yo, let me write something. I really have no idea because I always played around, even if before I considered myself a rapper, when I was saying other people's rhymes, because I was always a dictionary. So you know, I was always saying other people's shit because I know you could play if you play the song now that I knew from back when I was a kid. If I haven't heard it for 20 years, I still know the shit word for word type shit. I'm a fucking weirdo.
That's a No, that's a talent though. Yo, I do album reviews, and I can tell you I can't do that. And there's some of you guys that can, and y'all just hear the words and spit it verbatim.
If it's
Me, I
something that
hear the words.
resonates,
It's all fucking. Man, I
yeah,
can't even remember my own fucking lyrics anymore. It's fucked up.
yeah.
Like it's like really
I,
crazy. So
but
I
it's my
respect that talent.
it's my job, yo. Like you know what I'm saying. Especially when I run around, bro, checking all. It's my job. I gotta remember. I remember lyrics like it's nothing. If I hear that shit two, three times, I got you. It's whatever. But yeah, so
That's great.
I can't tell you the first time. Like yeah, I'm writing rhymes, but you know, but to answer the question, like seeing like all the grow with little like I grew up in Bed Stuy, man. So like seeing like people like Jay-Z going ridiculous and Biggie and like people that I've seen, like not like I ain't gonna say I knew them because they was older, but people that I've literally seen though. These people I've literally spoke to in real life. Not saying like we were best friends and that because I was younger than them, but
No,
these are people that
I
I've
get
literally
that.
seen and engaged with. You know what I'm saying? So like this has been a part of me ever since. You know what I mean? And then
I mean, that's just a crazy idea, right? Like, I can't really conceptualize it. It's almost mythical. Like, there isn't really a lot of that here outside of hockey players. And then I guess in a way in Montreal, hockey players are cool,
you
but like to come back to where you're at, like to actually be in the same place that Biggie is doing. Like, we get that, like that one video of Biggie as a
it's
teenager rapping and freestyling, right?
in front of the bodega, right?
That one video is all we really
Yeah,
get. You know, there's
but you
not
know
much
what? That
else.
I walk past that store every day. That's what I'm trying to eat today still. That's what I'm
Woo!
trying to
Like,
say. That's where I'm from. Like this, like, and I'm like, you understand what I'm saying? So the moments that people have like from video and that are folklore, like a lot of these moments I seen. Like I wasn't there for that, but what I'm
no,
saying,
no, fair enough. Like, I get it.
but those are the blocks that I walk. You know, you understand what I'm saying? Like, so like, but to answer the question about rhyming and shit, like when like really like wanting to really take it shit, like just like, okay, we can rap. Like it's when me and my cousin right here, when we linked up, you know what I'm saying, with the bros, man, with boot camp, with Sean Price and all of them, bro. We was, you know what I'm saying, we was just, you know what I mean,
Like, you
we
just
we we
randomly.
we, we that so linked up with them and then seeing how, because even like Biggie and them, like it's still like I didn't know them, like I've been like, you know what I'm saying, so but like, you know, the big bro Sean, rest in peace, and Rock and all of them, is like, oh, like I stand next to these niggas, like, okay, that showed me it was accessible. You know what I'm saying, like seeing Biggie in them and just seeing like, because my thing is being from Brooklyn, like that's everybody always got something cool to say about Brooklyn. Whether so you could be cool by osmosis and shit. You know what I'm saying? Without even putting no pain in. You could be cool just because I was my mom's was from Brooklyn. I come through on Thanksgiving. You feel me? Like, but nah, son. Like we was literally out here, bro. Like ingrained in the soil, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? So when I seen like Ruck and Rock in them and Buck in them, that was like, oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, we can do that. Like, yeah, okay, we in the loop. That's yeah. This is what's up. But what made me really want to write rhymes. Like one of the first joints that really made me be like, yo, I want to rap for real. When I heard Broken Language, Smooth and Trigger. When I heard that, I said, oh yeah, niggas is rapping. I gotta rap. So that made
You said
that
four names so far, Penn, that like you just named them casually, and I know
Yeah,
Holden do not know who Rock and Ruck is like
I know
that.
who they are.
Okay,
Come
okay,
on.
all right. Well,
I'm
my
an
bad.
album reviewer doing
just
Classic
quick.
Quest. Literally, yes, I know who they are.
All
I
right,
know
so
who
then, but
that.
still, he can elaborate on like
Yes.
when he met them Like
Yes, I was going to definitely peel back to that because I'm in my head going, he just name dropped some people I do know. And I know that other people know who they are too because they're like hugely significant. I was like going, wow, that's like the boot camp clique. I might be saying it
Yeah,
wrong.
those are the
But I'm
big,
just
those are the
sitting
big
there going,
homies.
I'm just like you're fucking just mentioning them like nothing. I'm like, to me, I'm a little like my jaw's like opening and shit, and I'm like, that's fucking so cool because I actually do get how significant they are, and I actually do appreciate that. Like I've covered Sean Price's work before, and his lyricism is like, like, and it's not just that the way he delivers stuff and just the finesse with it, like I really appreciate that kind of thing. So just to be able to say that you're a young guy and these dudes is around you and you're like, yeah, I can do that so casual, fucking huge. But here's the thing, I've also heard you rap, so I'm not hating it because it makes total sense to me.
I mean, they were huge. I mean, Brooklyn's just an influence, but now like direct influences was definitely Helter Skelter, man. Sean Price. You know what I'm saying? That's the big bro. Like just watching him from early on until he left. Like, yeah, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like watching him in the lab, like we helping him help me get better. And on top of that, um, I you know I helped him out in some ways as well. Like just that's my big bro like that. You know what I'm saying? My bro Bam could attest to it, man. Like he that so I'm so that was one of the main influences and shit, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Not like niggas wanted to rap like them, but I know I know if I spit some bullshit, I know Ruck was gonna clown me. So I had to make sure I had to make sure Ruck like what I spit. Sean Price. I had to make sure. So anytime I write it, even in the back of my mind, there's two people now. Because the last 2-3 rhymes I wrote, I was like, yo, what's up? I got a Nostrand Ave street sign. That's the avenue that I was raised on. And I got a vice versa sticker on there. My man Joe Jack. And then I was like, I ain't feel like writing no rhymes. And I looked at Vice and I was like, I got you, nigga. So like it's like that. Like you gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like I gotta show up for these niggas. You feel me? So that's why I rhyme how I rhyme. You feel me?
There's a big time knowledge nugget in that, right? And it's about finding somebody that you see a quality in that you think is admirable, right? And the knowledge nugget is that you aspire to emulate that behavior that's dope, and it forces you to up your game
No,
and
I
become
wouldn't say emulate. Just
not
it
like
has to be
emulates.
a certain quality. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I was trying to convey. Some pick the perfect words, but the idea I was trying to convey is that it's more like you have a standard that you want to meet of quality in your life, and you find the right people to go, yo, would these people fuck with what I'm saying? And that's what I heard you say. And that's an amazing thing that most people should do in order to achieve growth within oneself. So I really like that you shared that.
That's what's up, man. Where's Bun?
But that's fucking crazy stills. What's it actually like to be around these guys? I mean, I know for you it's like nothing, but like this is, an interview with a bunch of people who are big fans of everybody. Any kind of stories or anything you want to share that is just whatever that you feel cool with, something cool that happened would be fucking dope.
It's kind of difficult because these people that I just don't. So it's like I don't have like how is it? It's like it's how it was. You know what I'm saying? It's like these. I looked up to them too. Maybe not to the level. I mean, I look up to them immensely, but maybe not to the level because you guys. I'm a fan, but at the same time, I'm out. I've been in the field, so it's not, and we from the same place. So I guess it's a totally different perspective.
Mm.
So I never really looked at it like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I never honestly never looked at it like that. Like how was it? It was dope to chop it up with my bros and to be accepted by legendary. I have iconic peers. You know what I'm saying? Like I have peers that are icons in history. So it's just cool that it's you got to be of a certain ilk to just be able to be around certain people. A lot of people you can't just be in their cipher like that. But my aura is the cheat code, I guess. You feel me?
I feel that.
like the big bro, like MF Doom passed away and shit. And it's like, it's crazy because I look at shit that I think about things like sometimes motherfuckers be down, especially during this whole pandemic shit, motherfuckers be down like fuck. And then you think about shit that you did, and it's like, damn, I did a lot of shit that can't be echoed anywhere. Like, you know what I'm saying? So as down as I could get, it's like, damn, you did some legendary shit. Like I did, you know what I'm saying? Like Doom that was the big bro. I used to just watch him. You know what I'm saying? We had a fucking crew together and shit. You know what I'm saying? Strong monsters and shit. You know what I mean? Like I did.
I don't. That's a cool thing to elaborate on.
What's that? I did the Bloody Chain song on this album and shit. You know what I mean? Like it's just. I mean, I looked up to him too, but it was just somebody I knew. You know what I mean? I don't like it's just somebody I knew. I don't know. Like
I mean, you just casually threw in that you did a Doom track, right? Like to
I
me,
mean,
that's like
I
wow.
realize how much people really. I mean, I guess now that he's gone, now everything is celebrated to the 10th power and shit. You know what I'm saying? But so I mentioned it now because I want to celebrate the bro too, but also show that I did some cool shit. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, I'm not gonna lie.
We did Coachella, bro. We did fucking Coachella together, bro.
You did
Like,
Coachella with MF Doom.
yeah, well, you know what I'm saying? It was who's out there? Me, Immortal Technique. I check say there was no solo Poison Percent at Coachella, let's be clear. But I I did get paid handsomely to perform at Coachella. But yeah, and it's funny, we were in like one of the small tents, and there was like 10,000 people. That was a small tent. That was a small one. You know what I'm saying? And we was out.
10,000 people.
You know what I mean? And we was doing what we regularly do, getting drunk and rhyming. Like it wasn't nothing like, yo, we out here. Because the funny shit is when we did Coachella, that shit wasn't even popping like that to the mainstream. Everybody started talking about Coachella like 3-4 years after we did the shit, and I'm like, oh, like the whole Pac hologram shit was like at least 3-4 years after we had did that shit already. So I'm like, oh, niggas is jacking that shit now. I could have been getting pussy off this shit, my nigga. Like before we was doing all the Instagrams and shit, bro. I would have had 100,000 pictures. Like I'm at Coachella. I know there's like 1 or 2 old pictures floating around on Facebook or something. If I see the picture, I'm good like that. If I see the picture, I remember scenarios. So I know there's a picture or 2 floating around, but not with the bro Doom though. With me and Immortal Technique, and I think probably my bro Kid.
You know that just saying me and Immortal Technique carries the exact same fucking weight, right? As every other name you've dropped, dude.
But see, when you say drop, that I mean, I know you don't mean it like that, but to me,
Nah, no.
That's
I don't know
like
what you mean though.
that's like clout shit, bro. Like and like
No, okay. So we don't. So from my mind, it's like there's an understanding with everybody watching that you are not name dropping for clout. It's that you're so fucking you're the celebrity here. You're the fucking guy. It's not these guys. You're so interesting that you are just name dropping these people like it's fucking nothing. And for me, I'm like, what? So it's not like they're super fucking interesting. It's you're super fucking interesting, dude.
I done seen a lot of shit, yo. I seen a lot of shit.
Absolutely. So like the fact that you can just say this shit and like you explained it, it's not anything special to you, and nobody here is going, man, Penn is just trying to whatever. It's more like you have seen all this shit. You said you saw all the significant stuff, and you're not acting a way about it. You're just explaining the history, which is, I mean, if you saw famous people do famous things and your peers are legends, I guess that makes you a legend too. That's how I see you. Everyone I talk to called Penn a legend.
The work you put in, your impact make you a legend. Not knowing motherfuckers. Knowing motherfuckers just mean you know motherfuckers. It's different.
But I definitely think that my understanding of you is you're a legend, and that is anybody that I've talked to has heard your name is kind of used that kind of language to describe you. So I don't know. I see you in the same light as that. To me, there's no difference between an MF Doom and a Poison Pen for how fucking cool the opportunity would be to talk to either of you. I just want you to understand how I'm coming from. For that's what you're like in my world. You're one of those guys.
I respect, bro. Respect all day. Thank you.
Yeah. No, for real, dude. Like I'm blown away. I'm like geeking a little bit here. Maybe a little more than I should be as an interview host, but it's very sincere. I fucking am so impressed by this conversation. It's so cool.
So cool.
Like I go on YouTube to watch shit like this, and now it's happening to me in my face. It's so fucking interesting, you know? So when did you actually start writing? Like when did you get serious with it? How old were you?
Teenager,
Dude,
probably mid late teen.
were you like freestyling a lot before then, or did you like were
Yeah.
you a pen and pad kind of guy?
You said that I freestyle a lot. You said?
Yeah, well, like were you more of a freestyle guy or more of like a pen and a pad guy?
Yeah, that was mandatory. Growing up, you know what I mean. That's just coming up. You just had to be adept in all different aspects of the trade. So yeah, free. That's what we used to do. You know, ciphers and because before growing up, you know what I'm saying. I wasn't getting shows and shit. Motherfuckers ain't know me. So we had to hit the street. You feel me? So I used to go to New York and going back to the Barbito thing. Barbito used to mention on the air we got the New York Poets Cafe. So that's the first place I ever went because Barbito said it on the air, and I knew it was down at LES. But this is pre gentrification LES. This is when LES was still you know a little seedy. You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
So we used to pull up there like ready for action type shit. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, so they didn't. I used to go there. People, it's funny. I think I was on the EO. We had a little quick conversation. One of the EO Doug. We had a chat. Like we was just in conversation, speaking on. I was like, yo, I remember those days. Like, as far as EOW, I put in the work and the brothers we respect each other. So I get a little leeway when I walk in. You know what I'm saying? It's a thing. It's a little moment when the motherfucker pull up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't got to sign a list. Sue me. You feel me? Like, what I mean, we're gonna walk. We gonna do what the fuck we do, cause that whole weight. But coming up, it wasn't like that. You feel me? So I used to go to New Weekend and sign the list at 8 o'clock, and then I'd be like the fourth, fifth person there sign the list, and then I'm sitting there all night. Motherfuckers just walking in, they throwing them on stage. But these are all motherfuckers I heard on the radio and shit. So it's like really like they deserved it. But in my mind, I didn't see it that way. So I used to be mad. So my only option was to go outside. You know what I'm saying? I was never like a scary dude. So I'm from the style, feel me? So we should go outside. And I used to just black on motherfuckers in the ciphers and shit. So I used to look and pay attention to whoever was getting the biggest response inside. And then I would step to that motherfucker outside, like, what's up? And that's how I started getting my rep up. You know what I mean? Like after a while, it was like, so he's going from spot to spot. Okay, you ain't gonna let me inside, I'll rhyme outside. The big homie Thirsty Hal used to pick me up at my mom's crib. He had a drop. You know what I'm saying? And he used to pick me up at my mom's crib and take me to the city and just point at people like, yo, get at him. Get at him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we used to go like motherfuckers used to sick motherfuckers on motherfuckers and shit. Like that's how we came up. You know what I'm
You know what I'm
saying?
saying? I came up the same exact way, so now I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
You have to be the pit bull when you're the young one, and you the one that everybody on the team and in the family is looking to. Like, all right, well, if you want to do this is what you got to do. Then you become the little pit bull. When everybody wants them to rhyme, you got to rhyme,
but
you
me
got to impress everybody.
facts. But Thurston did that, and me fucking around. Cause I used to look up to Thurston crazy because first of all, on some Brooklyn shit, he was already a legend. You know what I'm saying? And he was already coming up. And he was like already. I think it was already pushing that whole MTV shit and all that. Like, Thirst was. I know Thirst was. You know what I mean? And so he introduced me to a lot, just taking me around, just like he don't even realize. I tell him all the time, like when we speak, like I don't talk to him as much as I used to. You know what I'm saying? Like he introduced me to a lot of people, bro. Like he introduced me. Thurston Howe introduced me to Eminem. and me running around like on some pit bull shit. That's when I was running around like and he used to fucking stick me on people and I was battling and all that shit. I don't
Did
do
you
that shit
battle
anymore.
Eminem?
Did I what?
Did you say you battled Eminem?
I did not. I did not say that. I surely did not.
I was clarifying.
I said. We're not throwing that lie out there. Nah. I said he introduced. I met him through him.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But that was just on the strength of how we stayed. Like we was already always out there ready to go. Like you know what I'm saying. So Thirst respected that on top of just being real some Brooklyn shit. You know what I mean? So he used to take me around and shit, and he used to sick me on people, and then he went out and did the Rap Olympics, and he met Eminem, and he called me like, yo, I met this dude, and he's like, yo, I met this white boy, yo, this dude's crazy, da da da. I'm like, word, and, and like I'm a kid, yo, like I'm like this is like this is like fucking young, like milk on breath and early rap shit. Like this is all like all motherfuckers did was rap, just battle and hit the street. Like I didn't know nothing about structure, no songs, nothing. Like this was early in the game. Like I don't think at that time I had never even recorded anything. This is how young, you know what I'm saying? But I was just outside, you know what I'm saying? And he was just like, yo, he came back from California and was just going off just, about the experience and stuff. Cause motherfuckers wasn't traveling to fucking battle. Like, what was that? Like, we ain't that wasn't a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you fly motherfuckers across the country to battle people? Like, really? That happens? So like, so it was an experience, you know what I mean? So he came back hype. And he was like, yo, I met this white boy, yo, he nice. And all he kept saying to me was, yo, he rhymes whole sentences. Yes, because at that time, you see how Eminem compounds and stacks his multis and all that. There wasn't a phrase for that at the time. You know what I mean? So all Thurston kept telling me was he rhymes his whole sentences. And so he had me. So I was just like, I'm like, yo, and I've never heard him sing nobody's praises like that ever. Like,
Right.
like on some rap shit. Like Thurston was like one of the best dudes I ever knew on some freestyle shit. Like Thurston Howard was a fucking legend outside, freestyling. So for somebody who I already thought was like top of the food chain on that shit, to sing somebody else's praises, like, no, but this guy is amazing. So then when I met him, I was like, yo, he had a show at Wetlands. Thurston was like, yo, we gonna pull up to the show. Meet me on the A train. Meet me at Canal Street. So I took the A to Canal Street. I met son at Canal Street. We walk over to the club. And shit. We just having regular conversation. And we go in the club. It's a Lyricist Lounge event. And as a matter of fact, the big homie Smith and Wesson was hosting. I think, Tech was hosting. I think both of them, Tech and Still was hosting. And it was a Lyricist Lounge show. You know what I'm saying? And there's a bunch of motherfuckers performing. And there's a bunch of motherfuckers performing. He was like, and the crowd was super hostile. Like they wasn't giving nobody no kind of love that got on stage. Right? It was super hostile in there. A few of my friends got on there and didn't get no love. You know what I mean? One or two of them might be in this interview somewhere floating around. I don't know. But it was a bad look for everybody. And but they were handing out these Eminem stickers. You know what I'm saying? He was like, yo, this is shit right here. I'm like, all right, cool. So the crowd was mad restless. The show wasn't good. And then the crowd, I guess there was some people that already knew, that was already in tune. Like I didn't know, you know what I mean? So some people in the crowd are going Eminem. And so Tech was like, yo, fucker, you ready? He was like, yeah. He was like, yo, fucker, yo, Eminem. So Eminem came out and shit, and he started rhyming and shit, and I was just like, oh shit, this motherfucker different, yo. Like at that time, I ain't really heard nobody rhyme like that. You know what I'm saying? He wanted, so even if I don't dig a lot of his material, there's no way you can't call Eminem a great because he literally changed the way people rap. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way you can't like if a motherfucker rapped and it made people rap different, that motherfucker is one of those ones. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of maybe the subject matter or content or whatever, that's something different. But yeah, like as soon as he opened up and started rhyming, it was just like, what the fuck? I'm like, wow, like I never heard nothing like that before. You know what I mean? And the crowd went ape shit bananas and shit. He did that song, the I just don't give a fuck.
That's a good song.
Don't, you know that whole fuck the world like Tupac. I just don't give a. He did that shit.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And
that's
Slim Shady, bring that like Jim Brady. I mean M80. You little like that Kim lady. That shit. And motherfuckers was like, wow. You know what I'm saying? And then and then after then I just stepped up to him like, yo, fam, I ain't know, bro. I ain't know. Like you one of the ones. And that was from back then. I was like, you one of the ones. You know what I mean? And look at him. You know what I'm saying? RP proof though. You know what I'm saying? RP proof though, real shit.
You knew Proof too?
Yeah, for sure. That was my G. That was my G. You know what I'm saying? It's funny, like a lot of shit that I look at a lot of shit that he did out there in Detroit. That remind me a lot of this shit that I do out here. You know what I'm saying? But him and PH was close was closer in age and shit. So him and PH was real tight. And it's funny, the last time I seen Proof, he asked me about PH. That's crazy. The last time I seen Proof, he asked me about PH, and he got killed like a month or two later. Shit, that's crazy. But yeah, Proof is my G, man. Yeah, man. He did a lot for his people out there in Detroit. Don't get the credit for it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, shit. I gave when D12 first formed as a group, when they came out to New York for their promo, when they first came out on their first promo tour, I gave them their first show in New York.
That's crazy. Like that's
without M wasn't there. But everybody else, you know what I mean, Canava, everybody, you know, the whole squad, you know what I mean, Bizarre, everybody. Yeah, it was at Don Hills. We was at Don Hills and I was doing I've been hosting shows since I was like fucking 19, 20, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I was hosting that shit. And gave them their first show.
All right, so let's go back to being a teenager. So you're a rapper, you're going around, you're the pit bull, you're meeting all these people. Also, we got a question from the audience if you're okay with answering that. This one's from Ismail Gadamsi, who's a big fan of like everything you're saying. He wants to just know your opinion on Master Ace.
Ace? Come on, that's Brownsville, baby. Ace, it's funny because I mentioned Eminem, so I see somebody got to throw Ace in there, you know what I'm saying? Now Ace is, I mean, I'm too Brooklyn biased, man. So he from Howard. He from Howard Projects. So he from the Ville, man. You know what I'm saying? Like my brother did Karoshi Doe in them projects. You feel me? Like, so Ace, that's the guy. But he one of the most technically proficient MCs of all time. You know what I'm saying? And he got a few hits that people don't give him credit for, man. Like he reinvented himself. Then after the whole Juice Crew shit, he reinvented himself with the INC. The whole Slaughterhouse was a classic album. There was a Slaughterhouse before the other guys kept borrowed the name. But you know what I'm saying? Like that Slaughterhouse album, Master Ace INC. You know, shout out to Lord Digger, even though Digger can't stand Master Ace right now for whatever reason. That's on them. But but yeah, man, Ace is a certified legend, bro. And on some football shit in Brooklyn, he a legend on that shit too. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a Brooklyn legend in all aspects, man. You know what I'm saying? And he's like secretly a lot of people's template when it comes to a lot of people how they structure their shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. So shout out to Ace.
Interesting.
Ace is like Ace is like one of the first guys to also do like that West Coast sound before it became like a cool hip thing to even do.
He
You know
called
what I
it
mean?
B bass.
Nice.
B bass, not G funk. It was B bass. But to be fair, but see now you want to open up this whole rabbit hole, right? You
Yeah.
talk about West Coast sound. Why was it a West Coast sound? Because the record that he sampled, because the womp 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 womp. That's fucking knowledge, me nigga. That's a Long Island record. Just the West Coast motherfuckers took that shit. They kind of owned it.
That's like
That's a New York record to begin with.
that's like every region though, right? That's like every region though, right? Like in the South with the bounce, their joint coming from the Trigger Man record, which is a dude from Queens. Everything
that nobody from Queens listened to.
that nobody from Queens listened to. Everybody's sound really does originate with us. Like I was telling somebody that the other day. Like everybody's sound originates with us regardless. They just don't realize it.
Yeah. If you're a hip hopper, you a New Yorker by default, yo. Or
I like that. All right, so I thank you for answering that. Honestly, Ismail is like a real one. He's been like following us for a couple of years in terms of my side of things. But yo, back to when you were a teenager, were you doing songs and shit, or were you just rhyming and writing?
I mean, mostly I was just running around just trying to get together, man. I started recording like early 20s.
So
I started. I mean, but all the first records that I ever dropped, the first records I did, they all like my first record came out in 01. Yeah, and that was like the second song I ever recorded, like solo song, like without my Stronghold brothers or whoever else. Like the first songs I recorded, and the only reason I recorded them was because I did a show and these guys asked me if I had those verses recorded, and I was like, yeah, I do. I didn't. And I just recorded some songs to the same beats and put out a record. And that's how I started recording songs.
Wow, that is actually incredible. So when did you start performing properly? Like when I say properly, I mean like there's a difference between like, running around and then you're actually doing like shows and shit.
So what is properly means?
I mean, properly is not a great word. So like like actual shows.
Like the first time you guys getting paid or.
Yeah. So I'm not from an era where people get paid to perform, right? So even that in and of itself, yeah, that's what it is. In fact, I'm from an era where people pay to perform.
Oh, that really sucks.
It's kind of what it is. We're trying to fix it, but we're building the village that it's gonna take to make things a little bit different.
To be fair, I was in a pay for play era, and I did it one time, and I didn't like how it played out, so I said fuck that, and I just went extra hard, so I didn't have to do it.
I have a very similar experience personally, and this is part of my going extra hard so I don't have to do it. So I totally relate to that idea in full. But when did you start promoting then? Like, what was that happening before the songs? Or like, I don't know what the timeline is like, but also
all of it was like simultaneous.
Big Zoo asked if made a good point. Can you break down what Stronghold Crew is? Because I don't know what that is personally.
I got you. But to answer, to answer the question, I was getting paid to do shows before I had a record out. Like it was I just had energy, and at that time, you could tie things together freestyle, and you had a bunch of verses, you can make it happen. So I was getting paid to do shows way before I had a record, at least 2-3 years before I had a record out. Because the first time I left the country to do a show was 1998, and I ain't put out a record till 2001.
Okay. So how old are you?
And all the shit I performed at the show, I wrote on the bus on the way to the show on the fucking Greyhound to go up there. I just had beats, and I just wrote all the rhymes. But that came because I was always, you know what I'm saying, I was always on my toes. You feel me? Like there was so I was always on I was getting paid for shows. I did a 90 I did a show, yeah, about 99. I guess I started getting consistently paid to do shows. I did a show at Pace University. I did a show at Pace University. I opened up for like the Beat Nuts and like Fat Joe or some shit like that. And Rakim. Yeah, so I opened up for them. And then I was like, damn, I think I should start recording some music because I can't keep fucking running around taping fucking cut, copy, and pasting songs together. So I just figured I should start doing that. So I started doing that. And the only reason I was doing songs was just to give me material to do on stage. Like it's funny, like I have way like if people see me perform, like they know way more of my music than I actually put out. That's the funny shit.
Like everything about what you just said, I've never heard anyone say before. So that was super fucking interesting, right? Because it shows your resourcefulness off the jump. I mean, first of all, it's crazy that you're getting paid to record, like perform. I mean, with nothing. Like that's legend. Okay, like hearing that, you became an even bigger legend in my mind than a lot of other people because that's fucking baller. Like I don't know how else to describe it. You don't even have tracks out, and you're opening for like Rakim. Like I don't know
Yeah,
how that doesn't make you a legend. It's just is what it is. And then you're inspired to write songs because you got tired of doing it on the fly. Like it was just like, whatever. I'm gonna be more time efficient or some shit
yeah.
like that. And it just ends up leading to writing songs. Like that is such a cool story. Um, where did you go to record? How was it like recording at that time?
Shit, I was recording wherever I could. I was recording wherever I could. I mean, the first song I ever did, I recorded at the crib. Like I said, my pops had it set up in the crib.
Mm.
So I mean, that was kind of the trial run. Like that, no one will ever hear that song. I don't, ever.
You remember
but
the
but
bars?
I do. I really do. I tell you, I remember everything, bro. I'm not gonna do it to myself.
Mm. We'd appreciate it, but I understand.
I'm not gonna do it to myself. But yeah, I recorded a lot of places, man. I linked up with a lot of people back then from like my boy Liveson, who was doing a lot of work with who did a lot of work for D Block. I linked up with him early. We did a lot of music together. Yeah, back then it was pretty much whoever had a setup. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't that well versed at the time to know. Okay, I need to have a bass. I need to record here. Have everything from one. Back then it was just like, yo, you got to set. Let's go. You know what I mean? Let's record. Like I didn't have that discipline. I didn't really. I was learning as I went along. So I was pretty much recording wherever the fuck I could. I wasn't even mixing records, bro. Like, yo, son, I put out like 3 singles without mixing none of them shits, bro. Fucking the sheer lunacy of that shit, bro. Well, I ain't gonna say didn't mix them, but
You know what,
not mix
dog?
to the qualifications and the the specifics in the longitude and latitude of how I like it. You know what I mean? Like I really learned all this shit as we went along. Like I live for the stage, bro. I'm outside. All this shit, I'm
Like,
outside, bro. I
like
don't,
even
and,
as you're saying that, right? So I'm talking to a lot of people about how we're all gonna do the different things that we do. And when you really look at some of these people that pop off, it's really some of the shittiest sounds you've ever heard. Like some of these songs really are not done, but they pop for whatever reason. And if kid whatever had waited, nah, they just moved. And then what's important, I think, isn't necessarily starting from a place of perfection in 2021, at least. It's more kind of what you did. Just put it out, keep going. Like you were serving a need when you created your first songs, right? It wasn't like you were trying to go like be a pop star. It was like, nah, I need some shit that I'm performing. That's what I heard you say. So like,
yeah,
it's a
because
practical thing.
I was gonna get this bread. Like, it's not like I was getting paid millions of dollars, but I was consistently getting paid to be on stage. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, yeah. So yeah, I just needed just to satisfy what I needed to my objective and shit. Like, all right, got a show. Let's get some songs done. You know, if a label hit me up or whatever, oh, these people hit me up. All right, let me go book 15 hours next week, and I'll go in the studio and just write a bunch of songs like here. Like, you know, that's I always did it to fulfill you know, a need. You know what I'm saying?
I do. And I really know what you're saying on some boss shit in regards to you're just effectively using time management and smart objectives to achieve your goals reasonably rather than just aimlessly doing stuff. So every part of what you're saying is, yo, I had a thing I had to get done, an opportunity. And at that moment, I stepped up to the plate, measured out what I needed to get done to pull it off. And then I pulled it off. And then I achieved the goal I set out to do. So what I love about your story is how much, you know, the business side is really governing your success.
Right. We never look for anybody's approval or anything. We just because my thing is I put in enough work from being outside, like where can't nobody if you stand on your own too, can't nobody tell you nothing. You understand what I'm saying? If I wanted to do a show, nobody wanna book a Poison Pen show. You think I'm whack? All right, I'm gonna book my own show. And guess what? Those people that came in, now that's all me. You feel me? Like, all right, y'all want to you want to put out all my friends' records and not put out my record? All right, I'll go over here. I'll put this shit out. Oh, now that I put that out, now these labels is hiring at me. Now I'm getting checks for 5-figure checks here over here. Cause I ain't give a fuck. Like, yo, son, don't let nobody tell you what you can and can't do, man. Don't ever do that shit, man. And go back. Zoo asked about Stronghold. Stronghold was the first was the first click that I linked up with, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, when you coming out, you know, as a youngster and shit. Um we formed just, you know, free, you know, like you know, running around ciphers and shit, just doing what we do. We was at this 88 hip hop. There was a station called 88 hip hop, a hip hop station down in where was it at? Broadway and Houston, in downtown, in I guess in Soho, in Manhattan. So we all that was a place where everybody would converge on Wednesday nights, and you know it was a radio station from like I don't know, I don't remember the times because I was always there, but it was Wednesday nights. There was a radio station, so we would go there and you know perform, battle. Everybody would come through. You know what I mean? I'm talking about not just low lives like myself. I mean, I met, you know, Outkast there. I met Pun there.
Whoa.
I met Fat Joe there. I met the big homie Big L there. Rest in peace to him. Like we actually formed a little. He actually gave me advice coming up. You know what I'm saying? He looked out for a little nigga and shit. You know what I mean? So like, but this was a place where we would all converge. It was a big radio station,
You
and
got to like
I used
get
to
advice from Big L? Is that what
we
you
used to
just said?
talk. We used to talk. Not like it was like, hey, Big L, can you show me how to rap? It was just, you know,
Oh, I hear you.
do shit like he would just give me little pointers like, yo, check this out. I'm like, oh, wow, that's what's up. You know what I mean? But yeah, so we we were at the station and I was the one running around freestyling. That was me. I was the one battling and that's how I got that was one of the places I got my rep up. And Strongholds. We all met there. It was a bunch, it was a crew with myself, Breeze Ever Flowing, myself, Breeze Ever Flowing, Stealth Index, Lifelong, and another unnamed Bozo. And
Hold on. Was that Breeze Ever Flowing the guy that was at the end of the week 2 Sundays ago when he told that great anecdote about?
yes,
Yeah, that's fucking cool. Okay,
yeah,
that's really cool.
yeah. So we formed over there, and we linked up, man. Like I was when they showed me a lot, all of them. You know what I mean? Regardless of whatever, they showed me a lot. I was actually the youngest. I was actually the youngest one, so that I was the least experienced out of all of them. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
I was the least experienced out of all of them. So, you know what I mean? Breeze to this day, man. Breeze is still the sensei. You know what I mean? Like, so I learned a lot fucking with Breeze, and that's how I started doing these shows to go back to another question because Breeze Overflowing was doing his numbers. So I used to just, run around with Son. Like I was little mans and shit. I was just running around with him. And that's how I started getting into doing shows. I would come in under Breeze and then earn my keep. You know what I'm saying? So from there it turned into, all right, well, now Penn's here. That's what's up. You know what I mean? So that's how I ended up doing.
I love the humility
So,
in everything you're saying too. I think people are not even catching this. Yo, that's the thing that impressed me the fucking most about your interviews was your humility, dude. You understand your significance a la max, but you also understand every other person's significance to like the fucking T of credit everybody is
it's
owed.
a puzzle, baby. Like if people read the if people read the credits and shit like I used to do, like I would be more popular if people knew the intricacies of what really goes on. It would be a bigger thing, but you know what I mean. We don't normally. I never really had to sit down like this, getting in depth like that. So that's pretty cool. People always
Yeah.
ask me about like Immortal Technique or about a battle or something.
I want to hear the Poison Pen story, but if it's all right with you, can I just take a little 2-minute break so I can run to the washroom real quick? This happens. It's just better for my focus. If that's all right, Flacco, maybe you could hold down the chat for a quick minute.
Got you. You ready? Yo, I did not know. Did you know? First of all, like in the first 2 minutes, I was just like, bro, I did not know. I did not know that you grew up in like a family that like was in the industry and like made music and like what? I did not know that. Like Dama, I think is echoing what I'm saying, where like in the first 2 minutes, I was just like, what? I did not like, I've known you wild long. I did not know that.
No, I'm also echoing what Zoo was saying about New York City hip hop is 6 degrees of poison pen, literally for real. That is 100%. And
that should be a game.
Aren't we so blessed to be like the 1 degree? Like we're somebody's 1 degree. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody is like when they play 6 degrees of poison pen, they're like, I know this one that knows this one, that knows this one, that knows Dutch, that knows poison pen. You know what I'm saying? Like
Facts. And but I also did not know, like I didn't know about that, about like you fucking knowing Outkast, like meeting Outkast.
No, I didn't say I knew Outkast. I said I met there.
Matt. Either way, like I know a good amount of a lot, right? Because like even in the last 10 years, you know what I mean, met wild people that I'm just like, it's fucking incredible. You know what I mean? I still be mind blown that what's his name? Bill Paxton. Like
rest in peace to Bill Paxton.
Isn't he like a genuine Poison Pen fan? Like
his son was. I don't know what his son was. He came up to me because of his son. And he walked up to me and I was just like, he's like, yeah, my name's Bill. I'm like, yeah, I know your name's Bill.
But this is my point. Like, you know what I mean? I know a lot of them. I did not know like Outkast. I don't think you ever had like even like said that. You know what I mean? Like,
we had a conversation on people that I've just met, bro. We'd be talking forever. Like that was I'm
just saying.
Honestly, I think we need a Wikipedia page. And because Wikipedia is on my mind. Actually, because you said that people usually ask you certain questions, right? And I really appreciated what you said, actually, because I like it when people basically say I'm doing some different shit. That makes me feel like I'm on the right path. You said everyone asks you boring questions, and I have a mission where I want to fill Wikipedia pages with the content I'm creating.
So Wikipedia been flirting on me for a while, bro. I don't know why I don't have one yet, man. I need that good entry.
Well, that's kind of like my goal here, right? So this is the story of Poison Pen. And if it takes 27 parts, I don't care. I'm down. You're a fucking great guy to talk to. This is the best thing I could ever be doing on a Saturday. I can't think of a better thing to do.
Damn.
Dude, you're a great guest. Like, if I have to rate my guest, this isn't that bullshit like you say this because you're whatever. But it's more like in a sincere front.
That's love. You know what I'm saying?
No, I mean, like, it's not just me. On my side, there's still 13 people fucking chilling with us watching this. There's people commenting the whole time. You are helping us create something, a great moment. And it's more like I was thinking about what you said is that, and I was like, yo, that's kind of what we're doing. We're trying to get your story. We want all these little details. Because to me, I realized I try to look up people like you when I do my album reviews, like the tier you're in. And there's nothing, dude. There's literally nothing. In my city, I live in Montreal. You try Googling Montreal rappers and see what the fuck you find. So if we can create the media, maybe there's a way to even take this interview and use it to put some shit on. I don't know if that's possible. I'm gonna look into that this week. But if that could be the thing and I could help you with that, that would make me the happiest person in the world to know that I could contribute in such a way.
I was a heavy part of the Montreal scene in the early 2000s.
Bruh,
I actually put out one of my records with a grant, with a Canadian grant. I appreciate y'all. My manager's from Montreal. I used to do fucking C cut 90.3.
Yo,
C cut.
what?
I used to do Cypher Queens.
Oh my gosh.
DJ Blast. You remember that
Blaster.
guy, DJ Blast?
Yo, DJ Blaster is on fucking Twitch. There's always a small chance he pops into the shits I'm doing right now. Actually, he's fucking spinning.
He produced the song on my first.
That's Blast. It's a different person.
Oh, Blast. Okay, my bad.
DJ
I fucked
Blast.
up.
Yeah, no,
I fucked up. I fucked up.
But yeah,
whatever. Thank you, cool man, Logan.
Yeah, no, I spent a lot of time in Montreal, yo. You know what I'm saying? But it's been a while. You know what I mean? So I used to be out there all the time, man. I done painted the streets with Goldschlager quite a few times. Yeah, bro. We used to have a lot of fun up there. So and I did a I had a single, the fallback single I did out there with my producer was from Montreal, the DJ was from Montreal, and I had a B-side with I had a B-side. Oh fuck.
It's all right, man. You're talking great about Montreal. You're doing like the golden is golden.
There was a dude named Malicious. He was on the B side. So the A side was me, Take All. I mean, the A side was Fallback, Poison Pen. The B side was from Montreal MC named Malicious, and the record was called
Take All. That's why this guy hit up my status and said, "Ask about Fallback." I'm pretty sure it's for this moment right here, because somebody hit me up in a comment and said, "Ask about this song." And with everything you're saying right now and how that shit links to Montreal, I'm getting the correlation of why that question was inquired about. So we made sure to listen to that shit.
I used to be up there heavy, bro.
Yo, that's amazing, dude. I'm really happy that you shared that. Like, honestly, I'm really happy because, I mean, a big part of this shit for me, yo, shout out Baby Straight Jacket for the follow on Twitch. If they follow you, you have to shout them out. It's the rules. But like, for me, a big part of this is to be like, Montreal has history too. And people in, unfortunately, my age group sometimes act like Montreal needs to be put on the map in some way. But I'm here in Poison Pen being connected to Montreal. I mean, evidently, we're not insignificant to life. We just don't know our history very well. So that's where you're coming through. And people like you are blessing me on a regular basis to make sure that we can bridge these gaps. That's why it's called Bridge the Gap, honestly, is what we're doing here. And so I want to thank you again for being here, dude. It's fucking cool. But let's go back to your story a little bit. So you're like starting up with the shows. What I liked about what you said, though, is that you were in a situation where you went with people, saw how they did, made sure you were present, and then were elevated. That's how I understood it. Maybe I misunderstood it, but that's how I understood how you got into doing shows. And I think that's really smart. Because it's like mentorship and stuff. You found somebody that you could learn from, you did the learning, and when you were capable, you started the doing. So let's talk about you as a promoting in that part of your life and what was going on.
As far as promoting events and things of that nature?
Yeah, because that's, again, stuff that you would be inherent to you, and considering who you become, you know, it's kind of interesting to hear the young pen stories.
Yeah, well, coming up, like I said, man, we never really waited for anyone to do for us. We just, you know, linked up with everybody. We just started booking our own events. You know, and I linked up with a company in the year 2000 called hooked.com. It was a website. And it was at that time, it was pretty much cutting edge because It had the e-commerce and everything all together. In the back of that time, you couldn't go in one place and okay, I could chat here, I can watch videos, I could order. Now you can do that on pretty much any site, anywhere. You know what I mean? Back then, everything was separate. So we had a site where we integrated. We had our own warehouse with our own. We had all our little, the hip hop clothing of the time. We had an online magazine, and we had a lot of we had people behind us we had some good funding behind it. Puff was one of the I don't know the title, but he was one of the guys high up the food chain. So, I'd be at work and Puff would pull up and Harry Belafonte would pull up and shit like that. Like I'd be on this fucking computer and Harry Belafonte would just walk by and shit like mad humble, just talking to us. Like I'm like, yo, you're Harry Belafonte. Like, you know what I'm saying? Well, yeah, so I started working for this company and like I said, it was a hip hop company, so it was everything all together. So they started throwing these events. My friend Mahogany Brown, very good friend of mine, it's like my sister. She was throwing the events, and I was just helping her out. She was throwing these battles.
Okay.
And being that I was I worked there, so at that time, I still was active, jumping around, battling and shit like that. But I worked for the company, so it was kind of like a conflict of interest. Like I'm not gonna be up there, getting all this talent and then trying to battle everybody. So it kind of inadvertently put me onto the administrative side. You know what I mean? Which actually helped me out a lot which is pretty much where I'm at. Like now, half the time, especially with this pandemic shit going on, nobody really performing. We just producing events. But yeah, so we would. I was pretty much just getting all the talent because I was the rapper. I was the dude. So we need people to battle. I get pinned. So I was the one that was always out. So I would get all my friends who just happened to be the dopest MCs out at the time coming up. And we just started doing these bi-weekly battles. And then we used to get like I said, we had a lot of funding behind us. So
all right.
We would have people like MC Light hosting with me. People that were popular at the time. Numerous BET hosts and shit like that. And a lot of people would come out and fuck with us, including MF Doom, Tragedy Gaddafi, fucking Jedi Mind, shouts to Vinny Paz. They would all, come through, support, help us out. Perform for us and shit like that. We were all trying to figure it out all together.
So I got a real big question about this thing. The one thing that's always been like hard to follow for me is like the formats. Also, people are like tripping. You're getting wows and amazings and stuff as you're talking. People are really loving what you're saying because again, you're the one that's like fucking super cool. I just want to keep reminding you of that. But I just want to understand the format of the battles in a logistical level. Like what in these early battles, let's say this is like 2000-ish, you're saying, what are rap battles like at this time? Because y'all are like the guys who know the battle history. And if you try to figure this shit out right now, it's very fucking hard. So you're about the only reliable source that could maybe walk the internet. I mean, we don't have to do it all today, but at least at this part of your story, what is battle rap like? Like, what are these battles like?
To be fair, there was no set format. There was no real set format. At its essence, a battle is, an MC versus another MC, going, bar for bar, who's the best, who got the best material, period, point blank. But back then there was so many different formats. I remember I did a battle where I did a battle at Rutgers University. It was a quote unquote battle. And like I said, I was with all the shits. I was with all the smoke. You know what I'm saying? So I was confrontational at the time. You know what I mean? Like when it came to rhyming, like I'm like, what at? I'm on it. Like, so I didn't really that's the kind of person I was. You know what I mean? So so there was a battle in Rutgers University, and I'm staying in my man's dorm and all that. We go do this battle. It was for like $200-300, like some bullshit. And so you know, I'm signing the list. I'm ready to smoke. I'm looking at everybody who's signing up, getting some bars together in my head, like, all right, you know, putting shit together and shit. And then they just start calling everybody to the stage one by one. And motherfuckers is just rapping to the crowd. I'm like, yo, that's not a fucking battle. Like, I'm confused. Why are you calling this shit a battle? You know what I mean? Like, and then after that, and then from that, then they narrowed shit down. But I'm like, yo, that's not a battle. But the format that we pop that I'm more of a fan of, obviously, is one-on-one head-to-head battles. There were a lot of different formats. You know what I mean? Because we did some shit that I wouldn't do today. But we were all experimenting. You know what I mean? I remember when we did the battles at hook.com, we had a round where one of the rounds where we gave an MC a word and they had to incorporate the word in their rhyme because we're purists. We had to prove you're freestyling. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, we're gonna give you a word and you utilize that word in the verse as you're battling the other person. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's times where, you know, motherfuckers smoking the other motherfucker. We be like, nope, but you didn't say annihilate. Like, come on, bro. That shit corny, bro. Like, let's be real. But you know, it's trial and error. It's trial and error. You know what I'm saying?
That's
So
beautiful.
back, you know, but we were more fans of the one-on-one format. So that's, you know, but bragging rights was the one format until the last round. You know, there was times when there was 3-4 people on stage at the same time. Everybody just getting one turn to just go at each other. You know what I mean? But one thing that we were doing more, we started implementing the multiple rounds. You know what I'm saying? We started implementing multiple rounds of battling, as opposed to before. A lot of times it was just like you spit once, you spit once, you spit once. All right, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then when we were doing the 88 hip hop thing, there was a format where we rhymed over a beat. And that was actually one of my favorite formats because we rhymed over a beat and we were trading eights. So, you know, when I'm spitting 8, the other person is sitting there stewing, you know what I'm saying? Get this shit together. And so it's kind of like how
the Trigger the Gambler, Smooth the Hustler song.
And like I said, that's one of the shit that made me want to rhyme. So that's why, like, I had to get like, yo, I just made sure my first 8 was killer, and that was it. So we would go back and forth, 8 bars, 8 bars, 8 bars. But the formats that we were doing by them was, you know, one-on-one, multiple rounds, but it was mostly freestyle at that time. You know, if somebody wrote something, they would act like it wasn't written, but we all know they were lying.
You know what's another form of battle rap that you participated in? I believe, if I'm not mistaken, did Hook have the first online forum text battle?
Yeah, they had the they did. They had the
text battle. Something about text battles. You'd be surprised to find out who is in the industry, who made it, and actually text battled once upon a time on a battle rap forum online.
J. Cole conceded, all these motherfuckers.
Hey, that's crazy. Wow. So this is at the same time, or is this at a different time? Also, like, this is a lot. I'm really digesting this all, but this is crazy what you're saying. This is so nifty because part of what you said and all of that, because again, like I have the whole corporate day job, some marketing and stuff. Are you familiar with the concept of A/B testing?
A/B testing?
Yeah, it's where you put 2 things against each other and see what does better, and then you make intelligent decisions based on that. Effectively, all y'all did was apply what software companies would figure out 20 years later, but to your shit early on, and then optimize based on the success of what y'all felt would made the most sense. That's actually the smartest way you can go about doing anything. Try it out and see what the fuck works.
Yeah, so, shit evolves, bro.
Huge knowledge nuggets, man. If you were to talk to anybody in business right now, what you just described is exactly how you would launch a startup, honestly, in an agile environment.
Shit, better rap kind of was our startup.
That's crazy. That's just crazy how like you broke it down like that, because a lot of people can hear that, and if they're really listening, they're gonna be smarter about their games moving forward. So I really thank you for sharing that for real. So
No,
like,
no.
how are you guys like actually? This like an era that's being recorded. Like I don't know even the leagues. Like to me, like I know there's stuff that happened. I know
There
your
was
name
no
is
leagues
involved.
whatsoever. This is
And
way
so,
before a league even existed. There was no leagues.
okay, so then you guys basically are creating this whole foundation of what is to come.
If most the earliest shit, like the battles that I did that we did with Jin, like some of the earliest battles that people talk about online. You know what I'm saying? So that was what 2001.
I'm not sure, but
Yeah,
I'll
and
take.
that predates. I mean, Smack and I mean URL didn't come out to 2000 like 10. You know what I mean? Smack DVD ain't come out to like 2000 like 5. So a lot of people, will give him the credit, give him credit like that. But this shit is years before that. You feel me? But there were a bunch of DVD guys doing shit too. But so
Zoo is
like
saying.
nobody. To be fair, I tell you, like nobody had the patent on battle rap, yo. And this is something that existed before any of us was even a part of it. Let's just be very clear when I say that. Like none of us invented this shit. Like you know what I'm saying? Like when I was a kid, when I saw a house, to be fair, the first battle I seen wasn't no Wild Style or none of them old hip hop movies. The first battle I ever seen on some real shit, like other than like like motherfuckers out like whatever. Like the first battle I can recall seeing was motherfucking House Party Kid versus Play, yo.
That's
Word of
crazy.
mother. That's the first battle I remember seeing. Like, and it's funny because who would have thought? You know what I mean?
Yo, actually, Big Zoo had a couple of questions that I think were really
Zoo.
interesting. That I want to just shout out. Also, your song together with Zoo is a banger. It is definitely the one I remember the most off of Big Zoo's album. I really like your guys' vibe to it all.
Stream the album. Stream the album.
Definitely.
Shout out to Zoo.
And then shout out to Zoo for explaining to me all about the low, so I understand what the fuck y'all are talking about now when I hear the song. So thank you for helping me bridge the gap, Mr. Big
No
Zoo.
porno today. No porno today. I had to rap my man. I had to rap my bro self, man.
Respect.
Brand, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man DJ Self, man.
But yeah, he wanted me to ask you about the MTV Direct Effect battles was the first one, and then after that, there's another one.
Oh, when Zoo smoked me, when Zoo made me retire from rap. You know what I'm saying?
That's a hilarious thing.
Yeah, we direct effect.
Yo, you got me.
Zoo.
You got me at the crib,
Wait,
my G.
Zoo was...
That's me talking to you, yo. I said, let me throw that in there for a good laugh. We see how you respond to that.
Nah, that was a classic moment though. Yeah, direct effect, man. This is before. This is like a year before 106 and Park was even a thing. You know what I'm saying? MTV was doing a show called Direct Effect, and they had a battle segment. And Zoo, Breeze was the plug to Breeze. Like I said, that's the big bro. Breeze was the plug to everything. So Breeze was in the loop, and he put, I believe he put Zoo on. And so long story short, they had a battle segment, and Zoo was the first. I don't know if he the first champ. Zoo was the champ. So Zoo was going on for weeks and weeks and weeks and shit. And I went on. This footage is on MTV. This footage is on somebody. We watched it on. It's on YouTube, so you guys can pull it up. But
Yo,
yeah,
if somebody
so,
finds that, they can send it to me.
So Zoo was a champ a few weeks already, and it's Big Zoo. It's me and another dude. I don't remember his name, but well, it didn't matter. And yeah, so we did the DFX thing. We spent like first of all, Zoo's my man, yo, and like yeah, I would never go against the grain and shit. So we just going up there having fun. I was just rhyming to the crowd trying to get some ass, to be real. You know what I'm saying? So, but no, it was dope. We was freestyling and had the crowd going crazy. It was just a dope experience, man. And
If you want, I can even. If you want, I have it. I think. Yeah, I have it. I can play that right now. and we can just take we can do it right now if you want.
Oh, we gotta decode the the.
You know, live that.
It's up to you. You said pull it up. They pulled it up. We found it. Now it's there.
I don't care, bro. I mean, how long is it? Pause.
It's 4 minutes, or this clip is 3:57.
Okay, all right. It's not that long. That's what's up. But yeah, we did that. Who was judging? I know it was Fun Master Flex, and I don't remember who else. But yeah, it was fun, yo. It was fun, man. Zoo got it. They gave it to Zoo and shit. And it's funny because to this day, like if Zoo is still the same, he on the same type of time. He was rhyming the same vibe back then. You know what I'm saying about teaching the seeds, and you're like, yo, Zoo was on that from back then. So shout out to Zoo for never breaking kayfabe and shit. You know what I'm saying?
No, but for real, like I appreciate you sharing this history, Pen. The fact is, you're a legend, and you handled that's. You just showed us elegance, my man. Zoo set you up a little bit there, and you handled that like it was beautifully done. Grace, I respect you big time, my man. I'm having a good time. Everybody thinks you're a legend, dog. We was bumping your music before, and it was just fucking good times. Okay, like that's what we were doing before you came on here on my side. So trust doesn't matter what happened in 2000 on MTV. You got to be.
Listen, that shit fire. I know my shit was fire. You can watch it if you want. I ain't ashamed of that shit.
It's up to you, man. I'm just saying, for me, it's fucking
I was
great.
getting reactions, bro.
Um,
and I left with something, so I won. I'm good.
That's amazing, man. Honestly, it's amazing. I mean, the fact that you even got to be involved in an MTV anything, like you got to understand, this might be one of the biggest moments of my career. This right now, it's happening in my face. Okay, so you're just like have all these accolades and this legacy, and I'm just like, damn, dude, that's so fucking crazy. Just keep it coming. It's inspiring, and you're just like here with us sharing it all so like casually, like this is just a regular Tuesday. We was there, came out, did our thing, and for you, it's probably was just a regular thing to go do. For us, it's like
it was down the block from Bree's crib. You know what I'm saying? It was
It's cool though. I really think it is because, like, I mean, I understand Poison Pen to be an infrastructural legend of battle rap. That's my understanding of Pen and the reputation. At least the people that I've heard your name know your name. That's what's been said to me about you. Everybody who knew you was saying shit like that. And I'm not pulling that out my ass because, you know, I like to post on the Facebook and people talk to me and trying to brag about how I got the Pen interview. And everybody's like, bro, do you even know who you're talking to? I got that shit like that, like crazy. So I think people are gonna see it, you know? Like you're fucking well known. And you have a laugh that people like.
Good question.
That's another thing. The laugh. That's what the laugh is what I get known for. The laugh in my reactions and stuff.
In battle rap, that's a huge. Like if battle rap was a Twitch show, that would be one of the like Bitmoji. Yes. That'd be one of the bit. That'd be one.
It would be that moment when you have the tear coming down your face after that Kool-Aid line. I don't even know what the fuck happened, but I saw this, so I know this happened because that got linked, and so I just know. And I'm like, okay, so now I have to watch this fucking reaction, and then it's just you, and you're like there, and it's like, wow, it's almost like you're that memeable, and I don't mean that in a negative way. To me, I wish I was memeable like that. That's so fucking cool, dude. Like you are an institution, okay? Like you are, like that's how I understand you at least. I mean, again, this is from a guy who didn't know your name from like 2 months ago and has had to dig real quick into the craze to figure out who the fuck you are. This is what the internet says you are. Kind of is what it is. That's how I see it. So I just hope you know that, man. I've been seeing like you've been making a bunch of moves like this too. Like this isn't even your first interview. I've seen you doing all sorts of shit all over in the last 2020. You did some fucking shit with the downtown, the bedroom downtown or some crap. I can't remember it. There's a few other things I saw. You sat down with a guy who came to Bed-Stuy and he sat down with you on some steps and you had another shoot the shit there. I tried to find stuff I could find of you talking so I could see what kind of vibe you had. And it was really interesting. Anyway, so I think you're doing a good job of like documenting your legacy and making sure that it's there for the future.
Try, man. People, you know, gotta document it somehow, right? Gotta get it down. But the book
okay. So Zoo's like begging me to ask the next thing. Fair enough. Solomon versus Chim or Min battle at fight clubs. I don't know if that means something to you. I don't know what that fully means.
Solomon versus Jin fight club.
Yeah.
That was a very tense. That was a very tense moment in hip hop history. Yeah, Iron Solomon came to battle Jin, man. That shit was. That was kind of like the passing of the torch that day. You know what I mean? And it was kind of a reality check for Jin too, because at that time he had kind of left Earth a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the bro. He good now. He good. But yeah, so that was kind of a reality check for him because it showed it showed that there was a change in the guard as far as the way people were preparing for battles. And Solomon was sitting there with like Jim was great with those Chinese rebuttals because at the time when he came out, seeing a young Chinese kid that could rap, that was in the hip hop culture, was an anomaly. You know what I mean? Not saying that there weren't any, but they would. I mean, to this day, there hasn't really been any mainstream Chinese hip hop artists in the U.S. You know what I'm saying? The closest would be, you know, Jin, and as far as just people know would be the bro China Mac. So you know what I'm saying? But like there hasn't
Rich
so
Brian guy.
So yeah, it was an anomaly to see somebody like you know Jin or whatever have you. What was the fucking point of what I was saying though?
You were just supposed to tell us about the battle. I think I've seen this battle, so I think I know what we're talking about. So
yeah. Okay, that's what so that's okay. Yeah, be back to thanks for reeling me back. Right. So the thing is Jin's approach, people finally found a way to poke holes through his approach because it was kind of like people were seeing people were seeing the parlor tricks. And whereas before they didn't know how to prepare for it, they knew how to prepare for it now. And Solomon like was a fucking brick wall. You know what I'm saying? That definitely showed him he can't play. You know what I'm saying? And it was wild because, you know, that it was all EOW, you know, because when Jen came to the city, you know, EOW was one of the first places we took him to. And, you know, so Jen was a big part of early EOW as well. You know what I'm saying? But he left the flock for a while, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, he came back and when he came back, that yeah, it was kind of ugly, man. You know, Solomon did him dirty. Motherfuckers lost a lot of money. You know what I mean? Niggas was trying to ass bet, right? It was a lot of drama that day. But yeah, man, Solomon proved that he was like that's kind of when the torch was passed that day at the Fight Club, and that was a big day in battle rap history. You know, the torch was passed with Solomon and Jen. Yeah.
That's one where it's like I don't care about your origin. Is that one or is it a different one?
Yep.
Okay,
Exactly.
yeah. So I saw that like literally once, and I can still remember it. So I mean, I kind of understand what you're talking about. All right, fair. That's dope. But that's still like in the future a bit. I want to roll it back still to like the early 2000s because you're still doing some crazy shit as you're inventing this battle rap stuff. Maybe not fully inventing it, but you're playing your part in inventing what is, you know, because you got to like you all the way to like DMS in Montreal today. It has influence, and it probably traces right back to all of the stuff that you did, right? So in my life, there's like a direct correlation to what your influence and impact has been. So like that's why it's super interesting to hear about it from you. So what else is going on back at this point where you're coming up with the original formats and whatnot? So when does it start to like migrate into something more, I guess, leaguey? I don't know what the right way to put it is.
All right, cool. So that leaves like from one point to that point. That's a years gap. That's like at least 5, 6. That's years.
Okay.
But the fast forward because we can't be saying talking until I gotta get a sandwich in a little while. You know what I'm saying? But the fast forward, I was you know heavy. I was heavy on the music. You know, I was putting projects out. I had 2 albums, multitude of singles and appearances, and we were heavily touring we were doing the Rock the Bells tours. Like I said, we had the Coachella shit. We were doing Rock the Bells, paid dues, festivals. We were doing multiple tours. So I was totally disconnected from battle rap for, you know what I mean? Because at that time it kind of had after like during the Fight Club era, like that was pretty much the only thing that was really holding it. So it kind of had died out for a little bit. And there was a time where it really wasn't moving like that. And then there's a company called Grind Time that was formed in Florida. My man Direct and Matt Ills, it's around 2008. They were doing this league in Florida called Grind Time, and that was the first time I saw a league, and that's the forerunner of the leagues. Because WRCs wasn't a league; that was just a company throwing events. It wasn't a league.
Right.
Yeah, so the first league, like
what's the difference between a league then? Like what would be the differentiator
a
to you?
league has divisions. I mean, well, they had divisions as well, but like we actively booked matches as we didn't do tournaments at the time. Like we were the first people that were like, okay, almost every battle back in the day were, you know, okay, it's a tournament style for the most part. Like, all right, we're gonna have 20 people here, and we're gonna randomly put you versus this person, and we're gonna narrow it down until there's one person left. You know what I mean? That's how it used to be. And then when it evolved to like Fight Club and all that, then it was like, okay, one on one. You know what I mean? But then what they were doing was it was a short format, and you weren't allowed to take a breath. You weren't allowed to stop. You weren't allowed to do anything. If you even paused for half a second, it was over for you. So and that was strictly written. But that time there was no person. It was just like who got the hottest mixtape verse. For the most part, a lot of Fight Club is that. Not saying all of it, but a good amount of it was like I just got the hottest verse. A lot of it wasn't really I'm getting at you. And then when we, you know, and then what we brought to the game was we were actually, you know, booking cards from top to bottom. Like even when they would throw battles, it was like there'd be a battle in Harlem somewhere, and you know they just had to show up with a camera. You know what I mean, on the street corner somewhere or in a rec center or whatever have you. But we were like renting out events. You know, we scouting people from multiple cities across the country. You know what I mean? We had standings, we had rankings at the time. You know what I mean? And we were actually booking matchups. Like, okay, this guy fits well battling this guy. So we're going to set this up, you know what I mean? And actually making cards that people could look forward to down the line and know who was going to battle. And, you know what I mean? We were pretty much the first to implement that for the most part.
So
you
basically, you guys added stats.
I mean, I don't know. I guess
I don't mean it in like a base way, but you got to understand how important stats are to this game. Everything to this game.
And I guess so because and our battles were all judged because a lot of the battles the DVD era they weren't judged, and a lot of the Fight Club battles were judged, but a lot of the Fight Club battles were judged, but a lot of people disagree with the judging all the time. But I guess that just comes with battle rap. And then the WRCs had judges. I was one of them, but the WRC judgments was all trash because it was fixed. So which is why we stopped inputting, because we would give our decisions and then the dude would literally, he said he would take it into consideration And if he felt we were making a different decision, he would still go how he felt. So the WRCs was fixed. You know what I'm saying? So that's why the videotapes it mysteriously disappeared. You know what I'm saying? But
Part of what made Grind Time really dope was the fact that it was kind of stats. Like there were, like you mentioned, there was a ranking when it first started. Like when Grind Time first came about, like there was a ranking, and it made it really interesting for people. You know what I mean?
Like you
Because
gotta
we had
understand.
everybody wants to be number one.
We had divisions. We had divisions all around the country. You know what I'm saying? We were
You
all
just
over the
gotta
place.
think about like how big fantasy sports are, man. People really like stats, dude. Like fantasy sports is basically guys or ladies geeking over stats. But the
Right,
fact is, a guy like me, I'm not gonna get attached to it without the stats. I
right,
need those stats. So
right.
you actually, I know it comes off a way when I say it, but like when I'm saying it, I'm like, holy shit. Like the world is about stats today, dude. Do you know how ahead of the game you were? Like, do you know how fucking legendary that is to
But
me?
to be fair, I didn't invent grind time.
You were involved.
I was
Involved.
involved, and I helped it turn to a juggernaut. But I wasn't around from day one. I wasn't around for maybe like day 3. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But,
I mean,
but,
these are
but
just technicalities. You're involved. You
yeah.
helped
Nah,
optimize. You're in the
I like to say it how
process.
it is because I didn't. You know what I'm saying? I like to say what it is. Like
I respect that.
to get to that point because Pete, my bro PA, like I said, I wasn't paying attention to battle rap at all because it really wasn't an organized sport at the time. Like what it is now, it wasn't its own industry at the time. So either you knew some shit or you didn't know some shit. It wasn't really a thing. So once the grind time started going and they started flourishing with multiple events and they had the West Coast of division were doing their numbers, a bunch all over the place. My bro PH was running the East Coast, the New York division. He was running the Grind Time New York, and he asked me to help him out. Because I knew same shit like from before. Like I knew all the talent, I had all the venues. I'm a good resource. You know what I mean? So PH asked me to help him out, and he was like, "Yo, I need you to help me with this battle rap shit." Da, 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 da. I say it like I said it before. I'll say it again. He asked me to. He was telling me about the whole grind time format, and I fucking laughed, bro. Oh, get the fuck out of here! I'm like, yo, these niggas. I'm like, what they write raps for each other? Are you serious? Like that's the mentality I had. Like what? Like you bugging? That's just how corny. Like I totally missed the boat at first. I'm not gonna lie. I was that removed. I was already somewhere else. I wasn't even thinking about it. But PH being my G, he kept egging me on, and I'm like, yo, you know what? So I went to an event, and he started sending me all the videos, and I started watching. Then I was just like, and then I started like, yo, we could do this, we could do this, we could do that, we could do this, we could do this, we could do that. So I just started helping them out, and then eventually, do the innovations, and with the help of my team, you know what I'm saying? Well, my man Flacco, Saracana, like, what I mean? We took over and turned that shit into, a monster, man. And the whole reason that Smack URL even was born was to compete with what we was doing in New York. Like that shit was birthed out of competition to us. Every time we did an event, they had to do an event the same day. But they couldn't stop what we was doing. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how started their empire with us.
So I like what you said there too, because there's a lot of realities today, right? Like if anything, there's more competition to do something new than ever before, right? But if we take the poison pen mentality, it means go and do your own thing. Don't worry about them. Just do your own thing. Let them do. You do you. And if you're doing it right, it's gonna work.
Can't nobody tell me what the fuck I can and can't do. I don't give a fuck, bro.
You know what?
That's just how I cut.
Pen, another example of what Holden just said of that perseverance is the fact that when you took over Grind Time East Coast. We were at that time in battle rap, East Coast and New York, and the way that we sounded battle rapping was not the cool, trendy thing in battle rap. The
Nope.
West Coast had a Cobra Kai grip on chokehold on battle rap, and their flavor of doing things and the way that they were doing things, that was what was like the norm and the best thing. And we just kept on doing what we were doing.
We turned that shit around.
And we turned it around, and so when we did that, is when right at the peak of like battle rap becoming popular in almost mainstream, and basketball players paying attention and famous people paying attention, and we were the representatives for the city that is the birther of this culture. So we were the main representatives for like battle rap at the time of its height of popularity, like getting there, at that time we were those guys.
Facts.
Crazy. Like it's just crazy to think about, right? Because like again, like I'm in Cégep, which is this thing in Quebec that you might not know about. It's between high school and university. It's this weird thing in Quebec that just exists. So I'm about 18, 17, and we're hearing about all this shit on YouTube, right? So all I'm hearing about is Jin this and Jin that. I don't know about a lot of other battle rappers, but Jin is a name that was really fucking big. So just to hear you bring about it, like you got to understand how detached I am from the culture. And even I was hearing about the shit that you guys were doing at this time because it was just passed around the YouTube world like that, man. Anybody that was on YouTube knew what the fuck you guys were doing. I'm not gonna lie. You guys were that big at one point.
The wild shit is we had no, like, if we knew that literally everything was gonna be broadcast, I would have fucking recorded everything, bro. Because the funny shit is all those old gym battles and shit like that. I didn't even leak those. Somebody else leaked them back then, and they literally formed a website, the mcbattles.com. They uploaded the tape footage that we had and took it upon themselves to build the website over our footage. Like we weren't, at that time. This is before YouTube even existed, so we didn't. I'm still on some. I'm outside. You feel me? Like this pandemic is the first thing in my life that changed the I'm outside aspect. Like I've never been a dude that's just stayed inside. And like New York has too much to offer me. You feel me? These streets had too much to offer. Not saying like on some negative shit, but there was just so many avenues, so many aspects, so much culture. You know what I mean? So many different personalities in every neighborhood. I had to be outside. Being at home wasn't getting me shit. Staying on the block in the star. I mean, I had fun there too. But me staying, if that's all I did, we wouldn't be having this conversation. You feel me? Like, you had to be outside, bro. You had to be active.
Nuts. Because what's crazy is if I hadn't spent the last 4 years sitting in my room talking to cameras, I wouldn't be having this conversation. That's just the ironic reality of my life versus your life. Because the truth is, it's the opposite for me. Being here in this room has allowed me to like unlock the access to you in a sense for the last 4 years. It's fucking nuts how the world has changed, to be honest with you.
Yeah, man. Like everything's on Zoom.
It's crazy. But it's also like dope because let's say it was in a world where I had to be there. It never would have happened, right? Like how could it have? I can't get to New York that easy.
But sometimes that's what adds to the legend, man. Everybody ain't gotta be there, man. You gotta hear the folklore, you gotta hear the stories, man. Everybody ain't gotta be every day, everywhere for everything, man. That's how stories get passed down. That's, you know what I'm saying? All this shit right here, this shit is temporary, bro. You understand what I'm saying? Everything doesn't have to be broadcast to a billion people all the time. Like things, like you have to experience things and pass that shit down, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's this, like we live in a part of folklore, this American folklore, real shit, man. You know what I mean? In the decades after this shit, they're gonna be talking about us.
I like how you said that, dude. I really do. And I think that when it comes down to your life, you're going to be one of those folklore legends. Like there's so much to like people could make like a course out of like the poison pen methodology to success. And I'm not saying that hyperbolically. I've just listened to you talk for like a good 2.5 hours now. So like on the real, you are insightful, man. Like I read a lot of business books. Like it's what 50 Cent did. You should write a book. I'm not even gonna lie. I'd fucking buy that shit and read it.
Oh yeah, I'm already 200 pages in, bro.
My man, I'm telling you, when that comes out, I'm absolutely gonna cop that shit. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm a avid reader. That bookcase is shit I've read. It's not shit that I'm flossing on. Um, that's just kind of what it is. So that's really cool. But let's honestly, man, I just think there's so much in your brain. Like, I mean, you saw everything. So for you, it's not a lot of classics. I mean, I'm trying not to go down your music career, but at the same time as all this is happening, I think people need to realize you're doing some amazing things musically. Like, I don't know about Immortal Technique and all that. I know that I listened to some fucking amazing music you produced today. It might have said Immortal Technique presents blah blah blah, but I heard you drop some amazing
that was
fucking
that
bars.
was label fuckery. You know what I'm saying? But I sold some records, so I ain't mad. I got a check, so it is
Yo,
what it
that
is.
like the one where it's like, who I Poison Pen. That shit is absolutely my favorite fucking Poison Pen song. I had to heart it the first time I heard it on Spotify. Is in my rotation now. So when I'm saying Poison Pen dropped some great albums, I'm not trying to like take some shit away from anything. I saw what the label did. I'm saying whatever. I'm not trying to go Immortal Technique, this, that. I mean, he's on your album. That's fucking cool. I fucking, it is what it is. I can't help but like that. But at the same time, like I think what you bring to I remember listening to you, and my first thought was, this is like what Rick Ross kind of wants to be. And I don't mean that disrespectfully, but like Rick Ross is like a pop version of what I heard you doing. And I'm like, shit, Ray, yo, Poison Pen sounds boss and hard. And I really love that because I like it when people sound like they actually feel a way about it. And not to give, Rick Ross is amazing today. I love what he does. No
Now Rick Ross
disrespect.
is dope as fuck, man.
Absolutely. But if I think about it, I'm like, yo, there's some real reels going on in what you do where I feel like it's a little bit nicer. I'm not lying to you. I heard it. I heard your bars today. I listened to your bars for the last few days. Not gonna lie. Whew, it's fucking good. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I really like your music. So I'm very curious about the
You gotta get
musical
some new shit, man. You gotta hit the
as
new shit,
well.
man. I gotta get you new shit.
That's a no cap thing. Sorry
I don't
about
know
that.
what that means.
That's a no cap thing.
What's a no cap thing?
I got a friend that like when I told him that I was doing everything that I was doing in battle rap, like he was like, impressed by it. But like when he found out that I was running around with Poison Pen, and there's like somebody that like I knew from high school and was like somebody who like put me on the stuff like Ross Koss and like lyricism of another like type of level. So I always knew that he knew like lyricism on a like more deeper level than your average fan. And when he found out that I was like running around with Pen, he was just like, what? Yo, what? Because of Poison Pen's level of like MC.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. That's the part. I mean, your battle rap mogul stuff is cool, but I do a lot of album reviews, right? And I'm not trying to float my boat on that. I'm just saying, I've listened to about 400 to 500 albums in the last 4 years, and from like analytical, I'm trying to learn from a perspective. I heard one of your tracks today, and I loved it like so much that it hit my rotation. Like I gotta bump that. That is about the highest praise I can give you. That you have a song I want to repeatedly listen to while I'm doing some shit like washing dishes and shit. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm at in life.
Mood music, baby. Mood music.
So like on the real, I really, really respect that part of your life because like simultaneously, I feel like we've spent a whole lot of time talking about the rap, but I also want to make sure people, because I heard you say in an interview one time, I don't know when it was, maybe mid 2010s, and you were like, people don't even know I rap. And I'm like, yo, that's weird.
It's just
Like, that's
offensive, bro.
thing. I'm like, all you have to do is go into Spotify and type in Poison Pen and he fucking shows up. And then what's really impressive isn't necessarily the fact that a number of albums and shit, which are also impressive. Your fucking 2 projects are extremely solid that I heard there. It was, have you guys actually seen the appears on section for Poison Pen? The appears on section? That is I think like you got you got multiple things in 2020. That's the stuff that where it's like people put your name and you can click through and you got like 50, 60 appearances on Spotify that motherfuckers could find if they just typed your name in right now on top of your albums. I unfortunately didn't go through all of them. But I did actually, I want to. Like you got a voice, and it's so great. Anyway, who? Let's go to like some of the more conventional music questions then, because I'm curious. Like, who would you say like are your biggest influences for music? Because people don't know that you do all the styles: the slow, the fast, the quickies, the trickies, the lyricisms. I heard you do all the styles. So I'm curious because I feel like you mentioned before that you listen to a lot of everything. And I don't know if that's like kind of what it is for you.
Well, like what I the influence from as far as I mean, yo, any song. I mean, I listen to hip hop pretty much like 85% of the time, like almost exclusively. It's kind of weird. But how do I put it? Um, anything I play, I analyze. Like this shit I learned from. Because I study like when I listen, I study. Maybe that's why I listen to hip hop so much because I do it. So even if it's an artist that's not that's like someone that you would think that I would listen to, I'm listening to a record and say, okay, maybe I could pick up on a cadence that I ain't never pick up on. Like, oh, I could deliver some shit like that, or oh, the way someone said this instead of saying that, or oh, it's cool the way he just flipped that syllable. Like, so literally everything I listen to, I'm always like, all right, okay, all right, So I'm always just listening, picking shit apart, and especially now, you know what I'm saying, like now that the quote unquote mumble era is over. You know what I mean? It's like it's a lot of people are back to bars and shit like that. So I just
I
like
agree.
I just like to study anybody I listen to. I'm studying. You know what I mean? So I listen to everybody, man. But it's like right now, there's not really somebody I'm like, yo, I listen to this motherfucker. They make me want to rhyme and shit like
But
that.
let's say like in the 2000s when you were making that music and the albums and shit, because I mean that's kind of when it. I mean, you started in 2000. You said you
Yeah,
have tracks like
I mean,
2003.
my
So who
my
are some
favorites,
significant people from that era? I guess.
Alchemist, man. Alchemist is my all time favorite, yo. Producer,
Mm.
I might change my opinion tomorrow, but today and yesterday and the day before it was Alchemist. So shit like that
Yo, y'all
always
hear what
get.
he did there? We gotta pause for a second. I don't think people see what happened there. I asked him who his favorite was, his biggest influence, and the man does not say a rapper's name. He says, "Fuck it, Alchemist." Name. And Alchemist is amazing. I agree with you. But I'm
Because
trying to condition people across the board to give more love to producers because producers don't get the love they deserve, and producers are a huge part of sound. And I don't think people acknowledge that. So when you said that, my level of respect for you just increased.
well, without the sound bed, like I gotta hear something to make me want to write. And traditionally, almost my entire as long as I've been doing this, you know what I mean, Alchemist has pretty much been like a go-to, as far as making me want to write inspirationally or whatever, just as far as making me want to spit that shit. I don't know if it's it's probably the library that he chooses, but he's definitely, yeah, you know what I mean. That makes me want to write to this day. You know what I'm
I
saying?
like that.
If I say if I'm having a little block or whatever, if I find I'm pretty sure I could just scour and find an Alchemist beat and be like, oh, all right, I'm good, and just start writing. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Wow. No, for real. I really like that you shared that. Like of most of the things you said, I think that's one of the most profound things you say. Because a lot of times people don't even bother to find a producer. They just kind of type in free beats into YouTube, and they're not really interested in sound. They're just trying to copy whatever's trendy and whatnot. But what I like about what you said is you found a sound that inspires you, and no matter what's going on, and not that you stick with it, but that you had that to fall back on for moments when nothing else is working. That's beautiful. That's the kind of like top, because you're a legend. You're still doing it. You're still in it. You're still dropping shit. You're not exactly like a guy who stopped. So your advice on this kind of shit is way more prolific and worth listening to than say my advice on shit. I'm gonna just quote you in the future. I'm not gonna be fucking. It's not me. It's Poison Pen's wisdom. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. Well, but as far as rappers though, but as far as rap, like yo, 50,
Okay.
Like I said, Sean P, 50, um, Mobb Deep, MOP. You know what I mean? Yeah, shit
That's
like
cool,
that.
man. That's cool. Honestly, they're not my favorite questions either, but you know, people actually like it when I ask them. So, you know, I throw them out. I know a couple people appreciate it. But I'm a lot more interested in the story of what it was like to actually be recording music in this part of life. So like, because I know you worked with MOP, I saw their name on the album. Like, were you signed? Was that like, were you on a label? Like, how did that all like work out in your life?
Like, how did I link up with them? Is what you're asking?
Yeah, because I mean, that's fucking interesting that you got to work with some really
We from
interesting
Brooklyn.
people. Sorry?
We from Brooklyn though. Like that's we from Brooklyn. Billy said on the record? I hope you understand, Fizz. You won with Billy Dez because you already know Penn. Like, like he said it. We from Brooklyn. They from the Ville. You know, they from the Ville. I'm from the Star, so we neighbors. You know what I'm saying? I watched them coming up as well. So we always have mutual acquaintances, and to go back, like, you know, putting in work in the community, like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just knew them. Like,
To be
I don't
fair,
have
Pen,
they from the Ville. Matter of fact,
to be
they was
fair, Pen,
they
there's
real
a lot of
real
people
cool
that are
with
there's a lot of people from the style that didn't do songs with MOP. You know what I mean?
but
I
probably
mean,
maybe Sean P is probably maybe the reason I linked up with them like that. I don't remember.
I'm just gonna go ahead and double down on what Flacco said. Geography is probably helpful. You were still that nice with it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that was fun, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really do records with motherfuckers I don't know. Historically, throughout my career, I've done features here and there, but I would have a whole lot more features if I didn't, you know what I mean? If I wasn't like that, I don't really do records with motherfuckers I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I've only rocked with a certain handful of people. You know what I mean? But yeah, like they just that's just people. Those are the big bros I've encountered since forever. Like I don't even have a starting point to when, like when we got cool or when whatever. Like that's just something that it was. You know what I'm saying? And I love Fame. I love Fame and Billy, man. I wish we could have did more. You know what I'm saying? I wish we could have did more, but a few things happened around that time, so I had to kind of chill out a little bit.
Fair enough. Honestly though, what's it like for you to write a song? Now this is another thing I'm interested in because also we just got a comment that you may like. It's good to choose wisely with who you feature on your projects. And people are feeling what you're saying. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
But
because
but what's
I'm
it like?
still regretting, you know what I mean? Because I have alliances, and I'm really extra mindful now because there's people who I was associated with years ago that I can't stand by none of their actions or nothing that they do, but my name is forever tied to them because I did music with them, and that shit sucks because when certain people, when certain things get spoke on, it's like, oh, that's Penn's man. Like, nah, that's not my man, bro. Like, you understand what I'm saying? So you really got to pick and choose who you bang with, who you affiliate with, who you make music with. That's why. That's why, like, yo, I never left EO Dub. I love EO Dub. I always fuck with my niggas, bro. I don't care. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, decades deep. I rock with motherfuckers I know. I associate. I'm cordial. I'm cool with everybody, but I fucks with the same motherfuckers I've been fucking with.
I can appreciate and empathize entirely with what you were saying. Man, you're a smart guy. Like when you listen to other rap songs from the classics that give the good business advice, it's like what you're saying right now. I'm not even gonna lie. That's my favorite part of Griselda is that they spit that shit and you're basically spitting that same boss talk that they're spitting. So I really like what you're saying. I'm not gonna lie. Um, but like how do you actually write a song? Are you a guy who just freestyles it out till it's dope, or do you write it, or like how do you actually go about doing songs? I'm curious as a writer, you know. I like to talk to people about this, just kind of like it's because something I do.
I mean, there's times I go in with an idea at first. You know what I mean? There's times I go, okay, I'm gonna write a song about a certain particular subject, and then I'll get the music that fits it, and then I'll just go from there. But most a good amount of the time, I have my like I said, I have my producers that are that are already in tune with what I like and what I fucks with heavy. You know what I'm saying? And they throw me them joints, bro, and I do what the beat tell me to do. Like I put the beat on. I may have a little line or two floating in my head. You know what I mean? From that's because I do freestyle to myself often. Luckily I live by myself. But motherfuckers would probably think I'm crazy running around fucking rapping in the crib by myself all day, but I do it to stay sharp. You know what I mean? So there's always an idea two in my head or a line or two in my head. So when I put a beat on, I'm already halfway into what I was already trying to say. And then the beat just tell me the rest. The beat tell me the cadence, it'll give me the delivery. Because I craft whatever I write to whatever beat. Like if I spit it on a different beat, it's not gonna sound the same. It's gonna sound wacky.
That's really cool. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that because it's interesting how like you take the time to actually craft more than just the bars, right? A lot of people focus a lot on the bars at the cost of everything else. It's something I see a lot in the underground personally. I feel like I were to give like anybody advice, it's like, yo, the bars are cool and all, but really it's how should you flow on that beat? That makes a lot of sense. And I think one of the things you showcase in a crazy powerful way on the at least the not the Immortal Technique project, but the other one, that shit had you doing some crazy versatility. Like when WTP comes on, it's like, how the fuck do you come up with that shit? Like, how did you come up with such a different? Because it's not like anything else. It's just an amazing vibe, dude. I just had to dance when I heard that shit. It was great because most motherfuckers can't even write a song like that.
You know, it's funny, but like when your mind is always working to write and shit like that, shit just comes to you. I was with my man Tone, that my boy Tone Def produced that record, and we were just in the crib just joking around. We was just joking, you know what I'm saying? And the thing is, we always had these reputation of being these, oh, it's all about the rhymes, lyrical this and lyrical that, and like, bruh, like, and people don't realize, like, I grew up heavy off all that Miami bass shit. I really listen to hip hop. You feel me? Like like I said, I was always looking for shit that everybody wasn't listening to. So, you know, me and motherfuckers listening to this, I was listening to this. So we just did it as a joke. I was just like, yo, we should just make a joint right quick, just clown it. So he put the beat together right there. And I just went in there and I just said the first thing that came to my fucking mind. Like that was actually mostly freestyle. Like I structured it. Like after we did it, then I structured it a little bit better. But it was a joke. Like in most of those songs, and that's the thing. Matter of fact, speaking back on lyrics and shit, going back to MOP, like I learned something valuable recording with MOP. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, you know, I'm a fan too. Like MOP was already legends. You know what I'm saying? This is, you know what I'm saying? And I'm from Brooklyn, so it's even more lofty of a status. So I'm like, I'm in here with Fame and Billy and shit, like on some Brooklyn shit that's crazy. You know what I mean? So I never forget. So I got the beat. My man Chum did the beat. We in the Upper West Side. We in the stew. And, you know, Fame and Billy did their verses and shit, whatever. So good. So I had them lay their shit first because, you know, I'm gonna let them do their thing. I might, you know, I could play with it a little bit. It's my song. It's my session. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm one of them people. If we all work together, I want to do my shit when you doing your shit. I don't want to go back. I'm not trying to LL cannabis you and shit. So I'm in there writing, and I got the mad serious, like, you know, just puzzled look on my face and shit. And I'm writing this shit, and Billy Dance is like, "Yo, what the fuck you doing?" I'm like, so I'm writing, son. Like, bro, this because I'm a fan. Like, I could express, like, you could be a fan of somebody without, you know, without being a dick rider and shit. Like, they know I'm fan. I'm like, yo, so I'm doing this song with MOP. They get like you see how you're like, yo, a lot of stuff say like, how come you're not geeking out or whatever. like because it's just what it is. But that was my moment with MOP. I'm geeking out, like nigga, like I know we cool, I know we friends, but nah, nigga, this MOP. Like I'm doing a song with this is it don't get no more Brooklyn. I'm already solidified with the big bro Sean P and all boot camp. So now I get to fucking rock with MOP. Like I'm hyped, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'm sitting there trying to write the most mind-boggling shit. And Billy just looked at me. He was like, "Nigga, you do the show with MOP. Why you thinking so hard?" In that one sentence, changed my perspective of everything. Like, and I'm like, "Yo, like it's that just because most of the fly shit come out when you just having fun. When you just, you know what I'm saying? That's why like I respect a lot of the dudes, like a lot of the younger dudes now. They just, I mean, sometimes it's a little too much. It's a little all vibe. It's all vibe now, but like sometimes you just got to go with the flow, go with the energy. Like you know what I'm saying? I got clever, I got clever lyrics and wordplay and all that shit. But sometimes, yo, just have some fucking fun, bro. Just spit, bro. Just, I mean, you ain't gonna embarrass yourself. This is what you do. Just go. Like, why you sitting here like trying to do Citizen Kane on this shit, yo? Like, calm the fuck down, bro. Like. You ain't gotta be expected deck on above the clouds. You doing a song with MOP, bro. Like this is what we do. Like it's like yo, you know what I'm saying? Like if Billy like, so he changed my whole perspective. Like that was a jewel that I never left. So like sometimes it ain't gotta be all complex. Then like yo, just get the shit off your chest, bro. If it feel good, just do that shit. And I learned that from Bill.
You know what's crazy, Poison Pen? This is a big time knowledge nugget. This is a recurring theme in my life is lyrical. What does that even mean? Is it the right approach? I know people that will live and die by having the perfect rhyme scheme, construct, this, that, the next thing. And you know what? I used to be that guy. And then I wrote the silliest shit in my head, and that was the song that resonated with people the most that I did. It was in my head, it was the silliest shit ever I
Dumb
ever
shit
tried.
always work. The dumb
And I
shit
blew
always
my
works.
mind. And it was like, you're giving away huge facts, right? Like huge things that people should be hearing. It works when you're just not like, when you're having fun with it, people can tell, I think. And that's amazing. But yeah, so like somebody's saying like how they heard Hobson as an example as lyrical, but he doesn't feel that the lyrics are as amazing, even though there's a lot of talent there. And I'm not trying to go disrespect on Hobson, but I can get where you're coming from. You listen to some guy like that, and if you're into like the technical proficiency, this, that, the next thing, sure, yeah, absolutely amazing. But like when you listen to the soul, like yo, I listen to your words, dude. You got like songs where you're like Bed-Stuy over and over, like you're just about what you're about. I learned about Poison Pen through your music. It wasn't some fake shit. I learned about some real stuff.
One thing that I I'm big on knowing where motherfucker from as soon as he make his presence known. Not on some, it's like, yo, not on some boisterous shit, but maybe on some boisterous shit. Like, I want you to know what time it is as soon as you see me. Like, oh, he from Brooklyn. Oh, he from the Star. Oh, like it's nothing ambiguous about it. You know what I'm saying? When you hear Penn, I want you to hear that. You feel me? I want you to hear Brooklyn. Like a lot of people now, you put on a song, you don't know where none of these niggas is from. Like I grew up, I guess being an elder statesman now, like I guess I got that era is dope that I grew up in because hip hop was always my tour guide. Every place that I went in my travels, the first time I went there, I went to go to all the places that I heard of in the rap songs. First time I went to Seattle, I tried to do the whole Posse on Broadway route. You feel me? Like when they went to the burger stand, the name of the burger stand is Dick's, so whatever. You know what I mean? I went to Dick's. Like I tried to do the whole I tried to do the Posse, bro. When first time I went to LA, I went to Crenshaw and Slauson. Motherfuckers like, why are you there? I'm like, I'm supposed to be here, son. Like, I mean, I went wearing a bright red hoodie on Crenshaw and Slauson, but you know what I'm saying? But yeah, bro, like hip hop was my tour guide. Like I learned about everybody's region by listening to their music. So when you put on Penn, I don't want you to be like, yo, he from. I don't want that ambiguous shit, yo.
Yeah, I like this, man.
Like fuck out of it, bro. Like, nah, son. Like love it or leave it, bro. I know I got a very niche fan base and shit. Some people can't stand me. That's cool. I've been doing it 20 years. I'm good. Like,
I don't know who doesn't like you. I don't think I would objectively find a person who will listen to you objectively and be like you're bad. But yeah, I just have to say first of all,
him for a lot of years. I could also tell you objectively that I've known him for a lot of years, and I've never met anybody that was like, man, I don't like Poison Pen. You know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, certainly the world has haters, but that's just what it is. But yo, first of all, big ups hip hop tours. I know they're a real thing. And as a honky from Montreal, I have all desires of doing hip hop tours in New York City the second I can cross a border again in a legal capacity. Because to me, that is the coolest shit ever. I don't even want to go anywhere except to go see the hip hop places. I'm not even lying to you. That's my biggest fucking dream is to do exactly what you just described doing. So it makes me feel cooler that Poison Pen wants to go do shit like that. That's it, man. Like, yo, I hear about all these places, man. I hear it's like I hear about all this stuff. Like I want to go to Crenshaw. I don't know if it's a good idea for me to go to Crenshaw without a guide, but I want to go there because it's what I heard about.
Swap me, get some t-shirts. You know what I mean? Go to the taco truck. You feel me? Like you gotta touch the soil, man. That this culture is all inclusive, bro. Like it ain't just rhyming, bro. You gotta really experience certain things, bro.
But what's crazy also about what you said is the where you're from. So I wasn't always like wearing Montreal hats and shit. In fact, I spent a long part of my career and I never said Montreal one time. And that was the biggest mistake I ever made. The second I started talking about Montreal, things in my life changed. I don't know. It was so powerful, but like now I wear this hat on purpose. I know that this is gonna be on YouTube's after, and motherfuckers need to know that Montreal is trying to contribute to the game. That we're here, we're in this conversation too. So like the fact is, I hear what you're saying, and I'm like, you know what? I can do this. I can wear a hat and make sure that you know right away that this is Montreal up in here.
Right.
And I love what you're saying.
And that's the shit. Like this shit gotta permeate your fucking your existence. You just gotta know that shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit gotta fucking waft in the air and shit, B. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
Big
like
facts.
I ain't gotta wear no Brooklyn hat or no fucking. Or I ain't gotta wear no fucking no Brooklyn Nets jersey neither. You know what I'm saying? Like no, and wear that hat, rep that hat because Montreal is underrepresented. You know what I'm saying? So,
that's what it is.
But I want you to know what time it is before off top. You gotta know what time it is with me. That's just how I feel. You know what I'm saying? That's I have to show that in the music, you know.
I really like that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how much time you have left. I know you said at some point that you were gonna have to go. So, but I mean, because I can keep talking forever, man. I have all the time.
We got a few more minutes. I'm gonna get some grub in a little bit. We got a few more minutes and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Awesome. I mean, I certainly hope we can follow up again because I know that the 2010s are quite a different era and there's a lot of stuff that happened then. And I feel like this is a great way to get your first party you're done. And if you're ever open to it, it'd be great to be able to have you come back and follow this up, man, because your history is ridiculous. And there's so much of it to just discover is how I'm feeling about it. And I just totally appreciate you being here. Just, you know, because if you're going to go in a few minutes, I just want to make sure I say that. Like, I feel like I learned a lot. You gave me a lot of shit to Google too, right? A lot of helpful stuff to go look up after, which is where like it gets extra fucking great for me. And I just thank you, man. Like it's big for me. This is again like one of the biggest moments of my whole career. Like to say Poison Pen, people have heard of you, dude. Like people have heard of you. Like for me, that's like nuts. Like you got to understand how like crazy that is. Like you're helping so much in ways probably you don't even know. Because for you it's just like nothing, but for me it's like, yo, I'm in Montreal and shit. It's a big deal. it's a fucking cool huge deal, you know. I've been looking forward to this for weeks. I saw you fucking do that freestyle 2 weeks ago or whatever. I end of the week I saw you tell the MF Doom story at end of the week, which is why y'all should check out end of the week because guys like Poison Pen actually just fucking show up and do interesting and amazing things. And I'm like, holy shit, I get to talk to this guy. Oh my gosh, I get to like you don't understand it. I've been tripping. Like this is a fucking pleasure, man. So like I'm grateful that I got this experience over here. I don't know if anyone has questions in the comments for like a last minute. If you do, this would be a great time to like throw out
go ahead,
round of questions.
Also, I want to thank Penn too. You know what I mean? Like, thank you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, you looked out for me plenty. Dom was in the building. I know she was talking earlier about like you putting her on Jimmy Fallon. I mentioned, you know, you giving us the opportunity to walk into the BET building and like test for a pilot battle rap show. Like this is Penn.
I forgot about
These
that.
are the things I shared that video the other day. And I'll send it to you just so you could, like, you know what I mean? Feel a little nostalgia. But like, yo, you've done so much for so many people. You know what I mean, bro? And like, know that like you don't have to wait for flowers. Like your flowers, I tell you all the time when there's flowers being spoken about you. You know what I mean? And there's constantly flowers being spoken about you because you are who
for
you
real,
are.
man.
You carried yourself with integrity, and it goes to show you that, you know what, that doesn't go unrecognized, and that doesn't go, you know what I mean, not respected. Like everybody respects and appreciates it.
Trust.
You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I like posted a picture of you and it got like 50 likes and like 7 shares, and I don't have reach. Okay. I'm not even okay. I just said interview with Poison Pen, and I got people fucking commenting and shit. All right, that's you. I'm not that cool. Trust that I'm not that cool. So like that's just the influence of your name. And I can tell you from comparisons, that was my best performing. This guy that I'm doing an interview with that I've gotten, and I don't know, it's gonna be like, I'm not saying I hope to top this, no, don't get me wrong, I want to top this as much as possible, but like, dude, this is huge. I would love to have you back. I say that as sincerely, like just your knowledge. Like we did get a question from the homeboy Ismail. Any newer rapper that you would recommend that we should all listen to?
I mean, I like Chef G a whole lot, yo. Brooklyn's winning right now, yo. I fucks with Chef heavy, man.
Brooklyn.
Yo. Oh wait.
I fucks with Chef G.
Go ahead, Brooklyn.
Yo, you want to hear some crazy shit?
Yes.
This ain't really like a question or nothing like that. This is just some. It's kind of weird, but you know how like people talk about how you travel to different places in your dreams or whatever, and like you maybe go into an alternate reality or whatever, and there's places that you visit multiple times. So in my dreams, I have like an EO dub. You know what I'm saying? Like when there's a dream.
Me too.
Yeah. Maybe we go into the same place. There's like a glass thing on the street, like separating it, and it's really dark inside, and there's a stage, and everything's kind of painted all black, and that's where I go to like perform and freestyle, and sometimes I fuck up or whatever, but Poison Pen is always there. Like that's like Craig could testify. Like I told him about a dream multiple times, and it's like, yeah, and then I walk into the spot, the open mic, and I'm doing a show, whatever, and Poison Pen is there, and da-da-da. It's like the usual spot. And you're there. It's like that's some crazy weird shit, but that's like I was thinking about it because it's probably because you're my friend and you know EO Dub, and that's what I associate you with. But it's like on a grander scale, it's like New York City hip hop shit is going on, whether in your dreams or in reality. It's like kind of there, crazy shit. That's crazy. We both have EO Dubs. I think we both have a dub.
I swear,
even in New York City hip hop dreams, Poison Pen is there. You know what I mean?
Nah, dude, you don't understand. I've been looking at comment sections. I've been looking at everything, man. You are one of those guys that, yeah, maybe there's a degree of people that I think you're kind of pigeonholed into the fact that unfortunately battle rap isn't as huge as everyone would like it to be. But the second that hits that next tier, which, yo, King of the Dot is fucking crushing Twitch. And, yo, big ups on fucking the King of the Dot thing. When I found out you were doing that stuff, I was like, wait, what? A guy who's hosting up at King of the Dot or whatever, the finals, I saw their numbers. That's some insanity shit. He's coming to my channel next week. Holy shit. That's like fucking crazy. Yo, I'm seeing this, man, and other people are seeing where you're at. Like, that's why you were there, because you're the guy.
We got shouts to the East Coast second round. We did 1 million that day. You know what I'm saying? So we produced an epic event for Twitch. Shouts to Show Off J Murder. Shouts to the whole King of the Dot staff, man. Shouts to Ice-T. Shouts to the big homie Ice-T for pulling up and Tretch. You know, we had a lot of we had a lot of icons pull up, and it was great to be able to put on for them show them what my youngest is doing. You know, man.
That's incredible, man. I got one more question from the comments from the homeboy CB Mac. He's like fucking been sticking.
Oh, it's shout to Saint. Saint won the tournament. We did the finals.
Oh,
I don't know if you guys saw it. Not to cut you off. We just did the finals last week. Well, a week ago, Sunday, we did the finals in LA, and Saint when we gave that 50,000, Saint got the 50,000. So shout to Saint LA, you know what I mean? And then shout to the homie Marv One. Marv One was second in the tournament, but Saint got that 50K. So shout to the bro.
Respect, man. So yeah, what another question? Just because again, if they're sticking with us, it's fun to let them ask. What's the best advice that you've ever gotten that still sticks with you?
The best advice that I got. Actually, the best advice that I got, I don't even really heed. I really should listen to it more. But Thirst out, man. That's one of the things I remember. He just told me, "Yo, man, just keep putting out work. Just keep putting out work. They going eventually. They going to gravitate towards. Just keep putting out work." It was like he was like, I still don't agree with this aspect of it because you take your little less, you take your little and you put it to your you apply it your way. He was like, "Yo, I put out everything I do. I don't give a fuck. I record it. Whatever I record, I put out." I'm like, I don't know about that. I ain't putting out anything. That's some shit that nobody need to hear. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, he's one of the most consistent, and him being an elder statesman, like he's a freaking, he's a legend and an icon himself. And he's been telling me that for years. He always barks at me because I don't have as much material as I should have, but I've been providing other content. You know what I'm saying? So,
but here's the thing: you do have an abundance of material. You're everywhere. You're like a staple of stuff. I was told maybe not to bring this up, but like one of the biggest things that has to do with my induction into battle rap is Bodied, that movie, and you're even in that. So,
oh yeah,
like, you're in like everything, dude. I would say that you actually heeded the advice. You just took a different approach to music, and when it comes to music, I can tell you putting out everything can fuck you. I've made some really awful sounding shit that made people not want to listen to me for years.
Most of the shit y'all like, I don't like. All the songs
That's
that people
fair.
like, yo,
I was gonna say, what's your favorite pen verse?
I don't
Yeah,
like half of them songs, but I don't vocalize it because it resonated with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, like I listen to those old songs and I cringe because most of the joints that I'm known for, I didn't even have my fucking, I didn't even really know how to record in the booth yet. You know what I'm saying? Like I knew how to write rhymes and stuff. I didn't know how to pause and really deliver shit properly. I'm still used to rapping outside. So all that Peruvian cocaine shit and even the Doom record and shit like that, yo. Like I don't really, I like the impact and I like what it stands for, but I would have recorded them shits over and delivered them differently. You know what I'm saying? But but
like,
at the end of the day, you put it out there. You always going to critique shit in hindsight, but also as an artist, you always strive to get better. And like, and
at the same time,
early. That was so early in my come up. Like those is before I even had any albums or anything. So I was still really, really, really just coming up. But it just so happens that
I find it's a give and take thing. Usually what happens is with that stuff you're describing, to a lot of people, that's the shit. Like you're gonna hit 20-year-olds with that to this day. In a way where I might agree with you more now because I've also spent a lot of time learning about music theory. And when you learn about music theory, you become more knowledgeable, and the more knowledgeable you become, the better you get. I can't write shit I wrote when I was 25 because I'm not 25 no more. But you know what? A lot of people actually tell me it's better. Not everyone, but people will listen to that and be like, it's better. And I'm like, yeah, it's fucking trash. You should do this again. And I'm like, nah, it's trash. But you know what? No, that's what it was. It was good for a time. Whatever, fuck it, they like it. We got a question.
That's good because it leads into that question that Cool Man Logan asked.
Yeah,
which is,
that's about what I'm going to ask.
Yeah, what's favorite verse? Penn, what's your favorite verse of your own?
Yeah, the best Penn verse from Penn.
I honestly don't have one.
Okay.
I honestly and truthfully don't because I write shit, I compartmentalize, and I just try to write some better shit.
Yeah,
so every time I write something, I'm trying to write something better than the other shit. So so I really, really, really don't. I mean, there's verses I guess I'm gonna say due to the impact, I'm gonna say Peruvian Coke because that shit been taking me around the world for fucking decade plus. 8 fucking bars. That shit done paid my rent quite a few times, those 8 bars. So Peruvian Cocaine, that's the best verse in history. Fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. But as far as just what I'm like, yeah, like there's a lot of things like I unpack my verses because I guess I know them more than anybody else, and I'm just like, yo, motherfuckers really listen to what the fuck and I really be like, well, you know, you gotta like, so I unpack shit and then try to, you know what I'm saying, and try to do better and try to do better.
Yeah, I meant
like,
one of those like that hit you in the heart yourself that you like. But anyway, it's obvious, you know, example.
I mean, from the past few years, there's a verse that freestyle that it went viral on Facebook and all that shit. It was some shit I did on Sirius satellite radio, and people tend to like that shit a lot. And I like the rhymes because I was talking about kind of about growing up. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the thing with me, like when I rhyme, even if it's not 1,000 punchlines, I try to be descriptive. I want you to see what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You paint
pictures.
That's the one with the pizza don't deliver Brooklyn? Is that what you're talking about?
It's definitely the one that Holden was playing on his show before we went live. I saw
Cool Man Logan sent me that shit.
That one. Yeah, that's just
so I heard that shit, dog. That was an amazing fucking verse.
Yeah, so I like. Yeah, thank you. I like that was like maybe 2-3 verses crammed together, but yeah, I like that. You know what I'm saying? And that verse resonates with a lot of people for whatever reason. So I'm but I really don't have a favorite. I
it's that real, man.
Like, if you like it, I love it. That's how it's supposed to be. Like, I'm glad people like it because I didn't ask nobody to share that video. That shit, you know what I mean? I looked one day and I was actually in Canada. That's funny. When that shit had went viral the first time, like 5-6 years ago on Facebook, I was in Toronto. I was doing a battle event in Toronto. And everybody kept coming up to me like, yo, Penn, yo, that shit, that verse was fire. That verse was fire. And I was just, and like after like 4 people came to me at like one night, and I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? And then I went to another spot, and I was in the hip hop spot, so like a bunch of people, more people came up to me, and I'm like, yo, I don't know what nobody's talking about. And then I went back to the hotel. I just thought they were just giving me props for some shit I did, because you know, I tend to get props for things and shit, but like it was like, okay, so many people at one time would just give me these. I'm like, something happened, and I'm like, I don't know what it is. You know what I mean? So I went back to the hotel, and I don't really fuck. You know what I mean? I don't keep Facebook on my phone because that shit too distracting. You know what I mean? So
interesting.
I logged on my laptop and shit, and then I seen this shit on Facebook, and I'm like, oh, that's what everybody's talking about. And I was like, who shared this? Because when the shit came out, when everybody was sharing it, that shit was already like 2 years old. Like this shit was old when people started sharing it.
Yo,
you know what I'm saying? So
it's got like that authenticity. Like when you hear shit like that, when you're somebody like me, it gives you that like, yo, that's that shit that I never been through type feelings, man. You hit us in the emotional fucking heartstrings. And I think that's what I like about you the most. I was looking forward to this because I saw how real you were. And I don't know if you get that, but at least for millennial dudes like me, the real is important. We were raised on that shit. And everybody's kind of not like pen real with it. Like when I'm saying pen real with it, I mean, you got videos with my favorite rappers just freestyling, and you sounded better than A$AP Rock. How the fuck did you this is my opinion, and I'm a geek. We're reviewing A$AP Rock tomorrow, but I just watched you sound better than Slug. I like Atmosphere a lot. I watched you sound better than all of them, and I'm like, nah, Penn just kind of stole that shit.
A$AP, I got one song with A$AP Rock floating around on Vast Air's album. We got a song. Shout out to A$AP, and we recorded it at the Dojo. So that's a partial EO production too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's crazy. But just to me, it's like, yo, like I'm a huge Penn fan now. I wasn't a Penn. I didn't know who you were, like I said, but now I'm a big Penn fan. And just to be able to talk to you like this, wow, that's crazy. I'm sitting here literally like, this is real life. This is fucking dope. Yo, shut up, Flacco Bale. That's all I gotta say about that.
What the fuck is he?
Yeah, he's there. He's there. Okay, he's on mute. So trust, he's there. Shouting out knowledge nuggets up in my fucking Twitch chat because he's showing love like a real one like that. We got this little emote for knowledge nuggets. It's a gold nugget that wears an education hat and it says knowledge. So when people feel you were saying that wise shit, like they just drop the knowledge nuggets, and you got a lot of those tonight.
Oh, that's what's up, man. Yeah,
No,
man.
people feel it, and then it's gonna be out on the YouTubes and stuff in the future. And I think this, is I'm like everything you do like this. Even if you never talk to me again, everything you do like this is a treasure, dude. I heard you talking about stuff on other interviews. Like I was listening to a Hami. I didn't know what a Hami was. I never heard that in my life. I went down rabbit holes on Reddit looking up what a team Hami was and learning a little bit about that. I mean, that seemed like it came later on. We didn't get there yet. But that's what I mean. Like, there's so much stuff I want to still learn about. And you're like, she's so fucking smart. And you just know all this shit. And that memory of yours, gosh, it's just so powerful for this day and age. We need people like you.
And the funny shit is, all of that shit was under the influence of copious amounts of alcohol. So I have no idea how I retained this. But that's how much I love this shit, though. Because we were doing all sorts of, well, we ain't gonna go there. Shouts to my peoples in the building, you know what I'm saying?
I know that there was definitely one time I saw where you're like, I ain't gonna do no fucking counting. I'm just gonna go to the bar till I'm good. And I'm like, yo, fucking Poison Pen is the guy to follow. Like, yo, fuck that. Cause yo, like, look at what I'm doing, man. I'm not gonna be, rappers or whatever. Poison Pen is a guy to study. That's what I'm trying to say.
And you know what? I could tell you as a guy in the underground, like there's certain people that it's just like, yo, you know that the wave is chilling with them. You know what I mean? And like, Penn, Vice, these are guys that like they might supposed to be on stage right now, but they're probably around the corner at the other bar having a drink, having a laugh. Like the whole crowd is gathered around them. You know what I mean? They're telling a hilarious story and everybody's just dying of laughter. And it's just because, they're just like the best people to be around. You know what I mean? There's always a good time to be had around them. And they're just always in good moods and giving good energy to everyone. And that is like in rare order, always and forever. That's always rare.
I gotta say, you definitely gave us a lot of your energy that was positive. Yeah, especially in these times. A bunch of people that you gave in something to do tonight too, because we did have that live, and we're not the only ones. Look at all the people on this call. That's not the same number. Then there's also on the other side, there's a bunch of sources that are stacked together. Probably a good 20, 30 people stuck around and like got a great thing to do on a Saturday night because of Poison Pen. That's what happened here. So that's all you, honestly, for you just giving us your time like that. And I appreciate it sincerely. On that note, I do know that it's probably a good time to wrap it up. So I appreciate you again. I just want to say a special thanks to everyone watching. Honestly, as much as it's fun to sit here and talk to Poison Pen, y'all are the real MVPs. Seeing those chats move, it motivates us. It is what it is in all formats. When you see that happen, it lets you know people are there, that people are feeling it. So thank you for being there. For people watching this in the future, put those comments down. Let them know what you want to know. And we going to make sure to absolutely go out there and, let them know. And then we'll get those questions answered for you. I do want to give a special thanks to the patrons. This Milk MC, Chris Pratt, Jonathan Barnes, DJ Black Hurricane, Linda Williams, and Scribble. They're dope. They support what we do. So just got to give them a quick shout out in this big moment for us over here. And on that note, I just want to thank y'all for being here with us. Do you have any final words that you want to say?
Nah, man. I mean, good looking on the call, man. Good looking on the platform, man.
Thank you, man.
We still got, there's still so much more, you know what I mean?
I'm so excited.
But yeah, that's what's up, man. I appreciate the sit down.
Cool, man. Awesome. So I'm gonna hit a little button now, and what's gonna happen is, on my end at least, we're gonna all go to another channel, and then the stream, at least for me, is done. On their side, they're gonna wrap it up, and I thank you for being here, everyone. Awesome.